You're mute again.
Do you have it on another? There you. Was that you?
Very good. We're good.
Okay. What's up, everybody?
You're mute again.
Oh.
You have it on another.
Hold on. Sorry.
We're good. Okay. What's up, everybody? You're mute again. Oh. Hold on. Sorry. We're good. Okay. What's up, everybody?
Are we good?
As long as there's no replay like that.
Okay. Looks like we're good, everyone. Look, gotta show this. Props to Karen's pages. What's up? Of course, I look like I'm head cut off, but maybe if I just
there you
go back somehow, whatever, I'll figure it out. But good evening to you, Jason. Thank you so much again for being here, especially on another impromptu week where it wasn't planned out ahead of time.
No worries. Happy to help. Happy to be a guest.
Excellent. I think we have a really interesting topic tonight. We've talked about it before on some shows. And do you remember ever being here when that topic came up? The topic of re-inking fading artwork?
I think I remember that.
If you got to think about it, that you don't remember, so you may have or you may have not been here. But anyways, it came up at least a couple of times, and at one point I said, we don't have time because that wasn't the topic of the show. We don't have time, but I should probably make this a topic of a show at some point, And then the topic came up again another time, and Murdoch, who is usually here but who hasn't been here lately, Murdoch said, you should do a whole show on this. And I said, that's what I said a while back,
Right.
And so here we are. I figured, why not? I had to fill this week anyways. So what better way to do it than to do it with this topic, which is always very controversial. And everybody's got opinions on it. And it's very interesting. So I hope it's going to be a rousing discussion tonight, or at least prompt a rousing discussion tonight, The chat's very lively. Hello. I'm going to say hello to everybody real quick because there's some. Otherwise, I'm going to fall way behind. So a few of you were here early. Comic Art Boston, of course. Hello, sir. I know you said you had to leave, but then you came back and posted a comment about having a Captain Marvel page. Mr. Redjack, hello to you as always. Tariq, there we go. Wow, I can't believe that the comments are working this week. Oh man, I'm so happy. I was so nervous that it was going to get screwed up like last week. On the road for the weekend, dropping to say hi, leave a thumbs up, catch on rewind. I appreciate it, Tariq. Thank you. Have a good time with the family, by the way. And another one, Marvel fan, good to see you. Hello. Dino Mauricio, what's up? Hello to my lovely wife, Vivian. And let me see. The Rickster's here. What's up, man? What's up? Comic Art Boston was here 4 minutes ago. John Brown, good to see you, sir. Oh, Sam Maroney, becoming a regular. I like Sam. Awesome, Sam. Love it. I appreciate you always. Thank you so much for coming in again. Really appreciate you. Thank you. Karen, my dear friend. Look at that, Karen. Which you probably been staring at for the last several minutes. Good to see you. And Echo. Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. CJ Design, what's up? Good to see you, CJ. And hellos to Carrie and happy Sundays. Happy Sunday. Is that a holiday? Welcome back, Jason. Love the spin.
Thanks, Dino. Appreciate it.
Yeah, what's up? What's up with that, Karen? That's right. #1 show on YouTube, baby. And of course, Mr. Redjack with the hello, Miss Karen. Love that. And hey, CJ. Hey, Mr. Redjack, back and forth. Hey, Vivian. What else we got? Comic Art Channel. Sup, peeps? Good to see you, sir. And by the way, Jason, aka Comic Art Channel, one of the 47,000 other Jasons I know in this hobby. Jason, I don't know if you noticed. I don't think you noticed. He left us a comment on our video from 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
wanted you to know, and you can go and read it later if you want, because obviously I'm paraphrasing here. Wanted us to know that you are a great guest.
Oh, thanks.
And he enjoyed it so much, he said, you should do this type of show once a month, like on a regular basis kind of thing. You know? So that's a good
I appreciate that. That's very nice. Yeah.
There you go. Excellent. Richie, what's up? Good to see you, Rich, as always. And of course, more love for Karen's pages. Rich Cirillo, I'm back home from the Jersey Archon. Yeah, Kavi was there today. Yeah, and he did well, selling stuff and buying a little bit. What did you get, Rich? You get some stuff? Or did you sell anything? Oh, what's up? Last week's guest, Dan Evans. Awesome. Good to see you, Dan. Wasn't that fun? I loved last week. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah. That's a lot of fun, man. Thank you again, Dan. Really appreciate it. That was really fun. Yeah, baby, go blue. Yeah, woo! Look at that. Look at that. He's on my side today, Jason. He's on my side.
Just right now, while the scores are even. That's the only time I can do this.
Marcus, just like I told him before we went live, the only reason I don't have my Michigan jersey on is because I wanted to rep Karen's pages. If it wasn't for that, I'd be going blue tonight for sure. I can let him go green. That's okay. Just for tonight. That's all right. But thank you, sir. Always appreciate you being here. That's awesome. Oh, yeah. Southern Comic Geek, Jason, my guest.
Hello, Jason.
2 weeks. Another Jason, number 3. 46,972 out of the 47,000 Jasons that I know in this hobby.
If you were born between 72 and 76, there's probably a 50% chance you're named Jason.
Good say. Yeah, you got that, man. You got it. So what's up? Good to see you, sir. What else do we got? Hey, all the way from Oz. Good day to you, David. Always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you as always for tuning in. And Rich, you saw Kavi at the show today. Cool, awesome. And you met him that was your first time meeting him. Awesome, man. Yeah, Kavi's good people. So I'm glad you guys got to meet. That's awesome. I love meeting, friends for the first time that we meet online. It's always cool, Hello, Maki Poo Poo. No stories about poo poo from me tonight, I don't think. Nothing that happened to me recently anyway. So you are safe from me tonight, Maki Poo Poo. Good to see you, Michael. I appreciate you being here as always. Hey, Caesar, what's up? Hello, Caesar. Always a pleasure to see you, even though you sneak away when you do come in and you don't say goodbye. I'm not going to call you out. That's okay, even though I just did, but that's all right. I appreciate you as always, Caesar. And what else we got? Yeah, number 1 Marvel fan, Wolverines, baby. Woo! Rich says all he got was a bellyache, in the words of Spanky McFarlane. So no art. Okay, well, hopefully you still had a good time. You got to meet Kavi, so that's cool. Oh, no, look what we got here. Oh, Sam. Oh, Sam, I was so happy. Oh, but you know what, Sam? He's in Buckeye country. Sam, listen, I gotta say, because of how much I do respect the rivalry, Sam, listen, look what I bought, Sam. I know you'll appreciate this. Look what I bought. Okay, it's a book. Okay, it's a book, nice and thin, but not too bad. Everything great about Ohio State football, the undisputed compendium. All right, check it out. Check out how awesome this book is. Look at all that information about how great they are, Sam.
Rude.
Yeah. Sam, look at all those records they set. Yeah, look at all that. Wow. Awesome team, awesome city, awesome state, I must say. Go blue, baby. Sam, I hope I didn't, scare you away. I hope you keep coming back every week. I appreciate it. Just a friendly little rivalry thing there. That's all. What do we got? 1978. It's still a common.
Close. I was close.
Wow, Carl Sodergren. Evening. First time in a while. Absolutely catching. Holy crap. Carl, the Superman fan himself. The fellow Superman fan. So thank you so much. And look at Karen's pages. Even though even though I'm like repping her shirt and shit, she has the audacity and the massive cojones, balls, for those of you who don't understand what that meant, to whip out the Nittany Lions thing. We'll see what happens this year anyways. Yeah, it is a good school. I like them. I don't hate them as much as I hate Ohio State and Michigan State. So, at least you got that. I don't really hate them. I actually kind of, I respect them, but I respect the Michigan State Spartans as well as the Ohio State Buckeyes, but I still hate them. So I respect all three, but Penn State is the only one of the three I don't hate. I don't have hatred for them. But there you go. Book is too thin, Sam. Look at all that information that was jam-packed into it, though. Exactly. It's like they should make it like 5 times this size. It would still have as little information as you see here. There you go. There you go. Yeah. That's awesome. But I'm glad you could all take it in stride. Thank you very much, everybody. So how come Fan Expo is from 22nd to the 25th? Don't they know the weekend is Saturday and Sunday? What are you talking about, Marcus? San Diego is like 7 days a week or whatever. Like, of course they're trying to be, San Diego-ish by adding whatever. They used to be 3 days and they added a 4th one on Thursday. Don't ask me. It ain't a great show, I got to tell you. My friends and I, my friend and I, we met with a third friend, but my friend Jeff and I, Jeff Singh, for those of you who are wondering, we were only there a couple of hours. We went when it opened at 10 o'clock or a little bit before 10. And I made a beeline for Grummet's table. And he wasn't there because he was doing a sketch duel for an hour. So then me and Jeff and I have to correct me, I hate that grammar. Jeff and I walked off and sort of did the tour of, all the aisles. They have power tools, everybody. Power tools. Yes, they have a fudge-making concession stand and then power tools right across from it. That's what the comic book convention circuit seems to be falling to. So, yeah. So, not a great con. But, yeah, I got to see Tom after an hour passed. So, from 11 to 12:30, I spent time with Tom. He was pretty much alone with his wife, Nancy, at the table. He signed a bunch of my pages. We talked. It was a lot of fun. And then, 12:30, bolted with Jeff and went to see our buddy Mike Curtin, who was the black guy on my first episode of Comic Art Roundtable. So the only black guy I ever had on my channel. What's up with that? Where's the women and where are the black people? Where are the African Americans? I don't know. Not many. And I've asked that question before. It's weird. They're not really into comics that much. It's odd. Hopefully that's not coming off as racist. It was fun. We went to lunch and then we left. So that was the extent of our con. So, and then the families got together and we spent the rest of the weekend, doing our own stuff. So there we go. And they ended before the weekend. They do not. They ended on tonight, I guess. Today at probably 2 hours ago, 6 o'clock. I'm assuming 5, 6 o'clock, something like that. Now with the J, it's Alia, but the W, wouldn't that be Valia? Not Walia?
It's actually his name. It's his name backwards. That's Adam Law.
Oh, you little bastard!
And I don't know.
But
the AJ.
But then what's the AJ?
Yeah, I don't know that part, but I know him from. He does dramatic readings that get posted on CAF.
Adam Law. Okay, yeah. Adam Law. Adam AJ Law. Okay. Oh, you sneaky bastard! That's a pretty good one. I thought you were some European guy. Okay, good stuff, man. Oh, that's next year's date. I guess we'll see. I don't know. I'll get watching the show while I'm at work. You good? Oh, you guys are talking to each other. Okay. Aranga apparently, no, not. I certainly didn't see him. I don't think he was on the guest list. Not that I know of. Would have seen him anyways, but no. Kenneth, what's up, Kenneth? Good to see you, sir. And KG, you mean Khalil? That's the only KG I know in this hobby. Who else is KG? Let me know if you meant Khalil. No, I didn't see any American there. that I was familiar with. Just a few fellow Canadian friends. That's about it. Who is the law, Rickster? Who is the law? I don't know. But you know what? Oh my gosh, I'm so scared. I think we are having problems. Oh no, let me see. It's okay. No, we're good. We're up to okay. Hi, Jared. Did you email me? Tell me right now. Am I butchering your name? Like I've known of you in this hobby for like over 20 years, probably. Tell me if Hyger is not the way you say it. I don't want to keep butchering your name. Ugh, it's killing me. So let me know. Am I saying it right? Yes or no? Please let me know in the chat. Type yes or no, please. Thank you. Adam, oops. Hyger, oh yeah, baby, all these years, 2 decades, and I know I've been saying it right all along. Yeah.
You nailed it.
I nailed it. Awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's correct for a Canuck. Oh, that's bad. That's bad, man. Now I'm what do the Yanks how do the Yanks say it if it's not Hyger? Is it Hedger or is it Hyger? You want me to put kind of the European accent on it? I don't know. You're gonna have to let me know. Let me know through email, phonetically, as I asked you to do. Appreciate you. Adam says facts. There you go. See, Jason outed you, Adam.
Sorry, Adam.
Oh, the Americans call you sir. Nice. I love it. Very nice. Hey, Nickster, what is up? Jumping in to ask everyone to hit that thumbs up. Great show with Kavi, by the way. I watched it on Rewind after I got back from got back in town and everything, and I watched that. So that was last Friday. Yeah, that one was fun. Still got to watch this past Friday's. But thank you, Nick. I appreciate it. Enjoy your dinner. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and enjoy the dinner, man. Yeah, absolutely. It was fun. That's always fun. So yeah, appreciate it. Okay, everybody, real quick, before we get into tonight's topic, as I always do, if you'll bear with me, just a couple of little news items like I always like to do. Number one, not to pat myself on the back, but I want to say this kind of for the benefit of any of you out there. If you are smokers and you have had trouble quitting and you want to quit, I understand. I did smoke in my 20s like an idiot. And just wanted to put out there that tomorrow, the 28th of August, 2023, is officially 25 years since I took my last haul off of a cigarette. And my health, while physically, as I got older, it has deteriorated because I didn't exercise enough. At least lung-wise, been phenomenal since I quit. So
good for you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And I know, Jason, of all people, you would appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And so I just wanted to put it out there. If you want to do it, you can do it. I did it through willpower. I'm not going to say anything or preach anything about, nicotine being addictive, not addictive, whatever. I believe if they say it's addictive, or I believe it is. I was just driven by the fear of not wanting to get more risk of cancer than I already have in my genes. And so I did it cold turkey. Yeah, and that's it. And so whatever it takes, though, keep trying to do it if you're trying to stop. So that's what I wanted to say about that. So just wanted to
Marcus's comment.
Okay, hold on. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Marcus. Let's celebrate with cigars. And yes, and that's so funny that you say that, Marcus, because on one show several weeks back, it's so ironic that this comes up tonight, because I wanted to bring it up for your sake, Jason, that on one of the shows, I forget who it was, but somebody had said something about a cigar. You
noticed, huh?
I noticed that you then said something about cigars, and I'm like, what? I don't want to say. Look, you've never told me I can say what I can say, what I can say about you.
Oh, you could say. You could say.
You could say, Jason. Let's do this together. Why don't we?
Okay. All right.
Jason, why don't you tell our esteemed, lovely audience what you do for a living? What are you in life?
I am a lung doctor. I'm a pulmonologist. So I'm all for quitting smoking And like you in college, I had a few cigars here and there, and there's been a wedding or two maybe where that happened also, but I haven't done that in a while now. So
Okay. But have you done it since you became a doctor? Admit the truth, Jason.
Probably a couple times since I became
Okay. Well,
it's the Cuban in me. It's the Cuban blood in me.
The Cuban, yeah, I get it. Okay. I did save it. I wanted to save that. I reveal that I did catch that comment afterwards until a further show, at a later time, and it worked out perfectly because smoking came up. So
yep,
yeah, it's a perfect.
I'm all for quitting smoking. It's the best thing you can do.
Don't do it again. Iron Man is greater than the Iron Lung. That is so true. So true. Whether you hate Iron Man or not, Hello, Ian Saint. Good to see you, sir. As always, thank you for dropping in. Celebrate with the devil's lettuce. I'm sorry. What is that? Oh, some wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the Mary Jane, as our friend Karen likes to talk about it. If you all remember her show and tell, you might know she likes to toke a little here and there, like to give me a little. Show me a scan of a Mary Jane commission she got made by Colleen Doran. Ooh, that was awesome. What else we got? I want a Karen Page's t-shirt so I can wear it on the train. Oh, they're very exclusive and limited, by the way. Look how exclusive this is. How high can I get? Hold on.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Very exclusive.
Very exclusive. So there you go. Yeah, so what else we got here? Doctor recommended, not recommended, and don't approve. Thank you, Rich. Quit smoking cigarettes back in high school after smoking a pack a day. Oh, good for you. Awesome. Yeah. Way longer than 25 years, so that's awesome. Good. And Mark Bond, what's up, Mark? All the way from Singapore. Smoking and comic art collecting do not mix, especially in the same room. Exactly. Or in any room. In any room. Rubencito, oh, Carlito, what's up again? Showing up a little bit more frequently these days. Awesome, man. Awesome. I appreciate you, bro. And Ruben the simp. Why would I be a simp?
I don't.
You know what a simp is? I just heard of that like a year ago. My friend told me what that was. I ain't no simp. I'm married, and I don't bend for nobody. What are you talking about, simp? You know what a simp is? #1 Marvel fan? No, you don't know. Pimp, maybe. I'm pimping Karen's pages. But simp, that's a whole different meaning, man. So, and she's a good friend, by the way. So if you meant that, I don't. If you actually meant simp, that's uncalled for. But so some commissions come with the cigarette smoke smell. Yeah. Oh, Marcus, believe me, a lot of my Tom Grummett art came with really heavy smoke smell because he was or is. I'm not sure if he ever quit a smoker. So yeah. And I spent years airing it out. I finally don't notice it. Don't know if anybody else would, but I don't. So I'm hoping it's gone. After years, of course. I like real Colleen Doran art. I know you do. It's very sweet to try to correct me. I know. Thank you. But okay. So the other thing, everyone, speaking of potentially getting cancer from smoking, okay. This has nothing to do with cancer. Sorry. So stupid. God, I'm sorry. This has nothing to do with smoking. But speaking of cancer, I wanted to update you all. That's not much of an update, but our mutual friend, Jeff Wedding, wrote to me, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, and he wanted me to know that he had spoken to Dan Parsons, comic book artist Dan Parsons, and Dan told him that his daughter Zyla, for those of you who don't know, 18-year-old daughter, I believe it's a brain tumor, but she has cancer, had her final chemotherapy session recently, this month, maybe a week or two ago. So that's good. She's obviously, as you would imagine, after the last few months of 4 months, 4 or 5 months of chemotherapy, back to back. She's got to be drained. Absolutely dry. I can't even imagine what that feels like. So now it's all about rest and recovery. And we now await for the next, I guess, CT scan to see what the results show. And hopefully it's going to be nothing but good news for her. So I'll update everybody as soon as I get more info on that. Dino, exactly. 18 years old, I mean, Jesus. I mean, so scary for her. And at the same time, you imagine like being a parent. If you're a parent and your 18-year-old daughter or son. Oh, and by the way, the Parsons second go around, her older brother, Zyla's older brother, had cancer 10 years ago.
Oh.
So imagine how tough that is for the family. So, but thank you. Yes, thank you, Rich. I appreciate it very much. So keep her in your thoughts, everyone. I appreciate that. And if you want to follow along, in case she ends up eventually updating, she was up until June updating on her by herself with messages on the GoFundMe that they had to pay for the cancer treatments. Thanks, Dwayne's Pain. I'm just putting the GoFundMe in there. If you want to drop $5, $10, whatever, that's okay too. You can donate if you want. You don't have to. Don't feel pressured. But if you want to just follow the news, they occasionally will update there on the GoFundMe. So there you go. I can't even imagine. Just can't. Yeah, positive vibes heading their way. Yeah, thank you, Carl. Thank you. So there you go. Yes. What else is there before we get this show on the road? Everybody, please bear with me. This has nothing to do with comics or comic book art, but it's something that I'm sure a lot of you have done before or something similar. 10 days ago, I went to do something really fun, and I have video of it. It's not the greatest video. I went to do it because my friend had done it, and he showed me a video, and it looked so cool and kick-ass. But they captured like all these great moments for him and his son, him and his 9-year-old son. And then when I went with him, his 9-year-old son, and Vivian and Arwen. But they didn't capture like the best moments, so it kind of looks not as exciting as it should be. But trust me on this when I say it's great. If you've never tried this, I would highly recommend that you try this. Okay?
Is this a skateboard crash film?
A what?
Skateboard crash film or video?
No. Okay. I can't even balance on a skateboard anymore. Yeah. Thank you, Dan. Thanks very much. Thank you. Yes, please. Thank you so much. Saw financial advisor. I don't need one, man. I've always been very, very good with my money, so I'm proud to say I don't need one. Please don't. Good old Matt. What's up, Matt? Trust me, I told you, no poop tonight. No poop stories. No poop. What's up, Mike? Mike's in the house canning fruits from your garden. No, I have no fruits in the garden. No. But let's check it out. I have video. There's two little videos. One is because it was actually my friend's son's ninth birthday. So they do this little special thing for anybody when it's for kids when it's their birthday. So that's kind of like a second little video. But I only wanted to show that video because of the fact that you'll have a hard time guessing who the real kid was in that video. I want you to guess, but anyways, hey, Hoarder's Hide, what's up, Scott? What? No poop? I'm out of here. He look at that. That's all he comes for, And it's not a sewing bee. I think no poop is the poop story. There you go. That is exactly it. Okay, so let me go and get this video, everyone. Yes, you'll know what it is because I'm going to show the second video first, just because it's only so we could laugh at my wife. So Vivian, check this out. All right, ready? Check this out.
It's time for another Sandbox VR birthday.
Can you pull your cake, Bryce? All right. Who didn't love seeing Vivian dancing like a fool? That was Vivian, everyone. That was not the 9-year-old child who kept dancing like this. So I thought that was worth showing. But this is what I really wanted to show, since now you know pretty much what we went to do. It's like a 1.5-minute video, so check this out. It was kind of fun. And it's actually more fun than what this video will show. Trust me on that.
Man, holy shit. Oh my god. I'm gonna get in a chopper too. Look at the moon, it's pretty cool, right? Hit my head. I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead! I'm dead, I'm dead! Nice,
Those dogs! They seem to be effective!
oh, it's pretty good! Hey, Ruben, behind you! Ruben!
I'm dying! Watch out!
Holy shit, look at that guy, right?
Yeah, motherfucker!
Motherfucker, get him!
Shit!
Holy crap! Watch it! Oh,
Something shorted out the lights!
oh my god. The windows, guys, stop! The windows! Oh, watch it, barrel! Oh, you just got killed. I got some bad team. Oh, Bryce, I got him, Bryce.
Ay, oy.
Oh, I got him, Vivian. Oh, watch it. Oh, shoot. He's invisible.
That was fun. Let me tell you. It really
That's pretty
feels
crazy. That's pretty wild.
It really feels like when you're playing it, it really feels like you're surrounded in this crazy video game world. You know, you're in this small little room, but suddenly it feels like it's really big, like you're outdoors and you're being attacked by zombies and shit. It's like, it was wild, man.
The funny thing of watching that video was to watch Bryce, the 9-year-old, standing in the middle, not moving that much, and all the adults going crazy around him. And then the language that Bryce was learning as the adults were getting scared or startled by.
Yeah, there was a couple of mofos in there. I was like, oh shit, I can't believe they got the couple of mofos in and nothing, nothing else really. But okay, whatever. But what do you mean, Vivian Chu? You are so awesome. Like, there was 5 of us there. Why is she
awesome? She was doing pretty good.
She just said I was the best. You were the best dancer at the party at the end. I know that. That's for sure. It was a birthday party. Yeah, nice emoji. She's upset with me now. But Dan was having flashbacks. Okay, there you go. Okay, you guys can thank each other. Okay, that's okay. Language in front of the kid. I know, but you get excited. Suddenly you're playing the game and, whatever. To be honest, though, I got to, in all fairness, that game lasts half an hour. And you feel it. Like you're sweating your ass off because you have 2 vests on. You have like a flak jacket. And then on top of the flak jacket, you put this other thing on with the computer, it's like 15 pounds or something like that, whatever, 20 pounds. I don't know. Yeah. So we were drenched in sweat afterwards, But Mike, there are swords if you play a different game. There's like 6 different scenarios you can choose. And actually, Arwen wasn't there. Arwen was supposed to be there. Arwen got some kind of a 24-hour stomach virus thing, and we had to leave her home. But we got a credit for her. You pay in advance, but we got a credit for her, and so I'll take her back soon enough and try a sci-fi one. The sci-fi one, that's the one that my friend Norman and his son Bryce did. The sci-fi one is cool, and now that they've tried both of them, they said the sci-fi one with aliens and stuff, they said they enjoyed that one more than this one. So I think we'll try that one. Dwayne says, remind me not to team with Ruben in the event of a song. Hey, in my defense, by the way, just so you know, I was all calm and everything, trying not to panic, right? That's why, I'm not really moving around too much, and I'm certainly moving slowly, not quickly. They gave me 2 pistols. Like this, more than one player cannot have the same weapon. Everybody has to have different weapons. And I got literally the worst weapon. You get a pistol, you get 2 of them, but it's still just a pistol. So I get the worst weapon with the worst accuracy, the worst firepower, whatever.
You're the 2-gun kid.
Huh?
You're the 2-gun kid. It'd be great.
I was the 2-gun kid, apparently. You know, mind you, then 2 out of the 4 of us, you know, having like automatic, you know, submachine guns and stuff. Like, what's up with that? And then they're boasting at the end of the game. Oh yeah, I got number 1. I got the most kills. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. You're gonna get the most kills. How am I gonna compete against machine guns with 2 pistols? You know, whatever. But it was really, really fun though. So everybody, if you haven't done it, you should try it. Don't know, obviously, if you have any of like a thing like this near you, but you should know. Yeah, she's taking out more than us. Actually, I think I killed. Honey, didn't I kill like 2 more than you did? No. Did you hear that? Okay. Apparently it's no.
We all heard that one.
But okay. But okay, relax. Oh, yeah, you were better than me because I had 2 pistols, excuse me. Hey, Ronald, what's up, man? Good to see you. And Dan, yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. And Larry Wong, back again. Awesome. Becoming a regular. I love it. I love regulars, especially when they come into the chat and shoot the breeze. Vivian, you smoke. Ruben, whatever. Okay, don't give me credit for having the 2 crappiest weapons. That's fine. Ruben shoots like a stormtrooper. That's pretty awesome because stormtroopers are awesome, Rich. Right? Stormtrooper is one of the coolest characters in Star Wars. So I'll take that. She got into it way more than you did. Like I said, I was just trying to remain calm because it seemed like my friend Norman was panicking all the time. That's why you heard his voice all the time. He seems to be panicking all the time. I'm like, I'm going to try to keep cool so I can focus and aim. Since my accuracy with pistols is garbage, that's all I could do. So yeah, you keep making fun of me. That's okay. Mark V, what's up? Been a while. Were you supposed to be immobile and moving like molasses as the zombies are approaching? Like I said, they didn't capture the best moments, so that's another thing. I had to like hand-to-hand combat fight them at a certain point, but they didn't get any of that on camera. So whatever. Yeah, whatever, Karen. I'd like to see you do it with pistols, by the way, and let me see your score. Because I remember how many kills I got. So I'd like to see you do it, and then you tell me how many zombies you kill with 2 pistols. All right. In Canada, by default, you're the no-gun kid. Thank you. Yeah, that's right. That's a good one. That's a very good one. Yes, sir. The ammo complainer. Exactly. Yes. Yeah, I got stuck with the crappiest weapons. I did. I just did. That's it. So anyways, everybody, it was a lot of fun. And for those of you who are just curious what something like that would cost to do, again, it'll be different, I'm sure, in every city, wherever you live, but more or less similar, I guess. For us, before taxes, it doesn't matter because I won't mention that since everybody has different tax rates. Before taxes, it was like 49 and change, so just about $50.
That's not bad. Yeah.
Which at first you think, wow, $50, and you're only going to be there half an hour. But then you're like, it's not $50, so you can do this with a joystick, right? That would be ridiculous. When you're in the game, in virtual reality, half an hour, it feels like a pretty long time. And so you think $50 for 30 minutes of virtual reality? Like, I actually thought it was a bargain at the end, you know? Still not something you want to do every week. It's like, right. You get a $200 a month regular habit, but to go once in a while, every now and then, yeah, I absolutely am going to do it again. So
that's cool.
Good fun, man, everybody. Yeah, check it out if you can in a city near you. Evening, Mikhail, good to see you. Marcus, slingshots and butter knives. Not sure they have anything that cool where I live. Yeah, I'm pretty damn sure they don't. I ain't gonna say where you live though. Ruben, comment or question. I know what blue line is, but what is gray line? So apparently they now have green line, David, and now gray line, whatever. All it is the same thing. It's just printed. You take the pencils, the scan of the pencils, you print them out on another board. That's basically it. So it's all the same thing. I guess they're trying to do it all in different colors for whatever reason. and then they ink over the printed lines. So unless somebody has heard that there's some benefit different from blue line to green and gray line, please let us know. But I do not believe so. Screonk is back. Another guy becoming a regular. Yeah, awesome. What's up, Screonk? Late, but I did just hit the like button. I appreciate. Please, everybody, hit the like button. Yes, if you don't mind, I would appreciate that. Nicky B came in and he's already gone, so I'm not going to have anybody to rally the likes for me. We got 49 last week, so it'd be cool to get another 49 this time. My grandsons would love something like that. Now, you would love something like that. I don't even play video games, and I loved it. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. What's he talking about? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Mikhail. Hart, hey, what's up, Hart? How are you doing? I hope. First time I speak to Hart in a couple of weeks since he got back from Maui. I hope you're doing a lot better, Hart. Honestly, you and Danielle, my thoughts have been with you, and I've been waiting for you to email me, actually, hoping that you guys are doing much better. So I hope you are. The fact that you're here tonight, popping in publicly, tells me that hopefully so. So, yeah, thoughts are with you. Hope you're doing a lot better, man. Thank you for dropping in, man. Thank you.
Yeah, glad you're safe, Hart.
Yeah. And doing okay. Still a raw bit. I can imagine. I can't imagine. I can't imagine what experiencing that in person must be like. I saw the videos, not even just the one that I showed on my channel, but the ones where it's just wild of flames. The world was on fire. I can't imagine how terrifying that has to be. So, yeah. There's a hello heart from Karen and a hello back. And welcome back, exactly, from Rick, from the Rickster. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you. Yeah, and thanks, Caesar, for also answering the question for David. That gray line, same as blue line, except printed gray. Yeah, there you go. You're very welcome, David. You're very welcome. Our pleasure. Okay, so yes, everybody who hopefully has seen the thumbnail for tonight has seen. We wanted to bring back that topic of should faded inks be re-inked? And I think a lot of people have a lot of opinions on this topic. I certainly have mine. I'm very adamant in my opinion, and I'm very happy that the comments in the chat are working well tonight because of the fact that this is, if any topic was made for all of us to get in on, I mean, this is it, right? I want to hear everybody's opinion. So I'm glad that I'm getting all your comments tonight, and so is Jason. So we're all good with that, and that's going to be good. But I think the better way to start, if it's cool with you, Jason, and everybody else, given that there's always people who watch, even some people watching live may not be aware of what we're talking about and what we really mean by re-inking art, and what they may not know what faded inks mean as well. So Mikhail, I asked my friend Jeff, who you have since met, Jeff Singh, just this weekend. We were together, and I asked him. He mentioned that he had met you and that you were a lovely guy. I concurred, by the way. I asked him about that. Oh, because he brought up Tony, the Tony thing, and I said, "Oh, that's funny because Mikhail brought it up on a recent show of mine." And I said, "What's that all about?" And he explained to me. So I was hoping that you might show up tonight in hopes of bringing it up a little bit later, though. I don't want to start off with that. I must have been drunk. I hear that you are often drunk at these conventions, so you may have been. I'm not. I can't speak for you or other people who saw you. It should be done on every piece. Save the art. Oh. Are you serious? Because I don't know.
Firing a big shot.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like, because if he's serious, I'm like in shock. So I want to hope that he's not serious. Because, okay. Anyways, we'll get back to you. Let Caesar answer. Yeah, we'll give some time for Caesar to answer so we can see his answer. And Kavi, what's up?
Hey, Kavi.
Good to see you, man. Hey, Kavi, Rich Cirillo's in the house tonight with you as well. And Rich mentioned earlier that he said he was happy to meet you at the con today. So very cool that you guys got to meet. So very, very cool. Can't spell stumble without M. Nice. Karen being the official greeter for everyone and the hello giver. What's up? What's up? Ink very pencil only piece like Ultimate Spider-Man covers. Very? I don't know. I think you obviously did like a typo thing there. I don't know what you mean by ink.
Every maybe.
Oh, every pencil only piece. Like, oh, sorry. Okay. See, that's what's gonna. You guys are gonna make it hard tonight. You jokesters, the jokesters among you are gonna make it kind of difficult tonight because we're often gonna be wondering, are you being serious? Because it's hard to believe that certain people would have certain opinions. You know. Yes, Dan, it's coming. It's coming. And this is why I was saying, just to get back to what I was saying, that yes, since some of you may not know what we're talking about, I figured it'd be a good idea to start. And I did have a few examples. So we'll do that. Hello back from Kavi. Yeah, saw Rich today. Awesome. Hey, Kavi again. Good times at the Art Con. Hey, Kavi. And hey, Rich. Okay. So everybody, especially for those of you who do not know what faded inks are. So let me just quickly say that particularly in the early 80s, a few artists who inked, it could have been just inkers, it could have been guys who penciled and inked themselves, what have you. But for inking, sometimes they used magic markers, Sharpies, whatever kind of marker they had on hand. Back then, the original art market was not established. So the original art had very little value, you know, $10 a page, $20 a page, that kind of thing for the most part, $50 a cover, you know, that kind of thing, with very few exceptions. And so the artists drew with whatever they had on hand, whatever they felt would speed up the job a lot more, you know, quickly to help them meet deadlines. Unfortunately, over the decades, those few artists who did use magic markers, Sharpies, and the like to do their inking, a lot of their art, in particular, since you're going to want to wondering who, there's two of the most famous ones would be Gil Kane and Jim Starlin. So two legends, right? Unfortunately, a golden and silver age and modern day legend in Gil Kane. But this happened in the early 80s primarily, okay? And Jim Starlin, so 70s, 80s, 90s, the present legend. A lot of their work where they used markers has either faded, so it still looks black, but really faded black, or it has not faded, but the pigment in the black pigment in the marker has turned a maroonish color, and a maroon is kind of like a burgundy, you know, brownish, purplish, so burgundy. And in some cases, both of those things. It has faded as well as turned maroonish colored, you know? And so, yeah, I don't say purple because when I look at purple, I mean, you know, some people say purple, and I guess some people think it looks purple. It's kind of purplish. I don't think it's truly purple, but anyways, whatever. Color is not important. What we're going to call it's not important. We're going to see it, and we'll show everybody some examples, and that way we'll all be on the same page, and we can start talking about what we think about the controversial topic of having people re-ink them. Okay, and hold on, Karen, with your question, because let me first quickly see. Hart says, if inks are fading, I would try to get the original inker to do it right with India ink. Okay, we're going to talk about that because that's one of the solutions some people say. Rich says, Perez's early New Titans covers. Yeah, oh my God, the New Teen Titans covers were inked with Pentel pens and we're all fading badly. Yep, exactly. If inker has passed away or is unavailable, I would then try to find a comparable inker and see if they would do it. Oh, my friend Hart, I am so upset to hear that you, of all people, are on that side of the fence. But that's okay. You have your right to your opinion. Yes, we will talk about the maybe ask it in a little bit. so I don't forget. In case I forget a little bit later, Karen, if you don't mind. Honestly, Karen, I can take this one real quick. How can you tell if it's been re-inked? Well, the best way you can tell, see, most people can tell. If it was done by a professional artist, especially one who's a fan of the artist who did the original page, right? They're going to try their best to emulate that style and trace it as well as possible, right? So most collectors may not notice. That is the problem. That's part of the problem of doing this, of this practice, right. Okay? Because most of the people getting these things re-inked are not writing on the back of the board, has been re-inked in 2023 by Joe Blow. Nobody's doing that, believe me. They're doing it with the intent to sell it for more money without letting people know that it's been re-inked.
Right.
But Karen, the real way that it's been, that the best way to know that it's being re-inked is if you're like me and you've been in the hobby for a long time and you've had the habit for decades of saving scans of art that you like when you see it online, and then you save scans of inked pages that are faded or purpling or whatever, and then years later you see pages show up again that look like they're in perfectly well inked India ink condition, it suddenly rings a bell and you're like, well, that looks really weird, something about this page is off. And then I'm like, let me see if I already have a scan of this page. And then I, of course, try to save that one and I see, oh, I do have a scan of it, except back when I first saved it, it looked like this. And let me show you all right now what I mean by that. I'll give you the first example. This is a Captain Marvel page, just the top panel. This is the top inset panel of a splash page, right? So it's a big splash with one inset panel right at the top, the first panel. I'm going to show you that first. I'll get to the splash later. Check this out. Okay, and let me go back. And sorry, let me remove Karen's comment so you can all see. So I apologize, everyone, first of all, for the bottom blurriness. That is not my fault. That is simply because the current owner of the page, that's the current scan, or sorry, photograph that they're, scan or photograph they're using, and it's just blurry. So there's nothing I could do to fix that. But there is a perfect example of what we mean by, browning, marooning, purpling. Hasn't really faded much. If there's fading, it's very, very light. In fact, if you look at the blacks, the black version, it doesn't really look super dark anyways. But yeah, so I would say this one has just basically had the pigmentation change from black to that color on top there. Okay. And since before I go and show another one, I'm gonna lose track because you guys are bombing me with the comments. All of Death Captain Marvel pages were inked by Starlin with those pens. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, lavender is another way to put it. Visual examples appreciated, professors. Thank you, Kavi. There you go. Puce? I don't know. Puche? I'll try and remember. Well, I guess it doesn't matter now since I answered your question. How's that for service, Karen? CJ, so if you really want it, get a copy and have it re-inked. That's all, in my honest opinion, and I'm on CJ's side of the fence with that one. I can certainly go more in depth into my opinion later, but I want to try to save it because I want to hear from other people instead of just myself. Dwayne, sure, there is a robot out there for the job. So what you're saying is never stop scrutinizing the authenticity of your inks. I guess that's kind of what I'm saying. Mikhail says, CJ has effectively ended this episode with his excellent suggestion. So we have CJ and Mikhail now on my side of the fence on this topic. That's good. Okay, interesting. A lot of pages have been re-inked, but unfortunately not disclosed. Exactly. Then that's not really the problem. For me, I guess I'll get into my reasoning later. The real problem I'll get into later. But the secondary problem is that everybody buying them is getting screwed because nobody's disclosing when they've been re-inked. So there you go. So then we have Naughty or Nice. What's up, man? So, yep, you can't tell it's been re-inked unless you look on an archived auction sites. Exactly. You know, if you have access to a previous scan before it got re-inked. Karen wants to say yes, but what if you've never seen the original? Well, that's yes. How would you know if they don't include the re-inking in the description of the art? That's what I'm saying. Well, that's what I already said, Karen. You likely would not know. If it's done by a professional artist, they have a steady enough hand that you in most cases would not know. And again, hence why it's so, this practice is so fraught with peril. It's so many bad things I can say about it. So Hart says marker fade will show on the backside a bit as a reddish hue. Oh yeah, sometimes, but not always. So the Tony Marine thing, okay, that'll come up later. Wasn't faded inks. He's filling in blacks on pages of original art where the blacks were filled in digitally. That's what I was explained. Okay, X marks the spot, right? Then, so I would never re-ink an original. Okay, so he's in my club. Make a copy and hire a super artist to ink the copy. This is cool because you could get multiple inkers to do the same image and compare styles. Well, if that's something you want to do as a kind of project for commissions, of which people do. Thank you, Dan. Thanks. Thanks to Kavi. I actually like the faded inks. Well, I like the color of the purple when it's still pretty dark. But again, that's this example, Karen, is not faded. This is pretty much, you can say this is just pigmentation changed, but not faded. Okay, it's fine. I don't think, hey, Murdoch, what's up, Murdoch? Hey, awesome. So happy you finally returned. It's been a while. And hey, how do you feel about the fact that we're doing this finally? We're doing this episode after you suggested we do it once this topic came up in a previous episode. And I remembered that, Murdoch. So there you go. So happy that you dropped in for this. So I don't think I could get a piece re-inked. Okay, so you're in my on my side of the argument on this. So imagine asking someone to re-ink an original and get a whoopsie. Yeah, that's another thing. So Hydra says any restoration should be noted on sale, exactly. But as you know, man, nobody does that. Wow, what a coincidence. But I'm sure they're all just forgetting, right? Yeah. Bottom pick is taken blurry on purpose. That could be. I can't say yeah for sure because it's not mine, but very well could be. So Kavi says that he's considered getting a pencil piece photocopied and new inks over that, like CJ suggested. Yeah, haven't done it yet though. Curious if the re-ink Captain Marvel pages were inked by Starlin or someone else. Oh, someone else. Someone else. I'm not going to start putting out names because, you know, I don't have absolute positive proof of who re-inked what pages. Not the point. It's not Starlin. Starlin has zero interest in wanting to try to re-ink his own art from like 40 years ago. So I've left all my faded pieces as is. Thank you, sir. You're doing a service to the hobby. Prefer them to be unaltered. Thank you. I agree. That's what makes it original art and authentic. Exactly. As opposed to a tracing by some Joe Blow, common, whoever. Thank you. Under a loop or using a microscope, if you see reddish hue, then it most likely was re-inked. Well, that's true too. See, but I guess the problem is every time you buy a piece of art, like somebody like Karen, who's been around for, let's say, 11 years, let's call it, right? And let's say she wasn't familiar with this practice, you know, you don't want to make her or any other collector feel now like that they're in a hobby where, oh God, every time I buy a page, do I have to start looking at it with a loop to see if this was re-inked, you know?
That's what I've started thinking.
Yeah, exactly, Jason. But the thing is, just keep in mind that you is what I said earlier, that it was very few artists, thankfully, that ended up using markers and that sadly had their art turn into purple or fading away, you know? So the main culprits, Jim Starlin, Gil Kane, and not only that, but primarily in the early to mid 80s, we're looking at like roughly, give or take a year, 1982 to 1985-ish, right? Mm. Outside of that, you can be usually pretty sure that the stuff was, they inked it with, you know, they stopped using the damn markers or whatever, you know? Mm-hmm. So yeah. So
will the marker fade away to nothing? Or will there always be some hint? Yeah, on the original.
The original. So it's impossible to know for sure based on what we've seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you with almost absolute certainty that at least in some cases, it is absolutely likely that some of the pages will fade away to nothing.
So you can't even tell the pencil underneath the marker. The marker fades away, but you can't tell the pencil underneath it.
Right. You might see a very, very stray, faint pencil line. But in the case of Gil Kane pages, see, Kane was such a exemplary artist. Like, we're talking, this guy was a pro's pro, right? This guy had been drawing since, I think, the 40s or 50s for sure. Okay. He could draw really well in ink, which is, FYI, the primary reason he started using markers on that early to mid 80s material that has been fading is because he realized I can get more done quickly, get paid more because I can do more pages if I don't pencil and ink my stuff. If I just go in with inks right away, I just draw it all in ink right off the bat.
Yep.
I'm only drawing it and not inking it, even though he is drawing it with an inking tool. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's the thing. So he drew straight in ink. So even if that shit goes away, there really aren't any pencils there to see. You know. So yeah. So that's the bad part.
And then my other question is, if you photocopy a marker faded piece of art, the photocopy will have blacks, right? I mean, the copier will make it black again.
Say that again?
If you take a faded piece of art, put it on a Xerox, photocopy it, or scanner and print it,
right?
The printer by default will make it black again, right? So the copy will be black.
Well, if you're talking about making a copy of that original, but what purpose are you talking? What purpose would you
then like I think CJ started it, but then you would
own
a copy. You would own a copy that is black and white, looks new, and then you'd own the original. And that would be a quick way to, without inking over the original, that would be a quick way to have a brand new black and white looking piece, right?
Yeah, but I believe what he and other people who mentioned that suggestion are saying is, you take the scan of the original. Let's say it's purplish looking, right?
Yep.
You print it out. You print it out on another board in blue line. Okay, and then you have whatever pro artist you want ink that. So it's still a copy. I mean, right? It's a copy, right? It's a copy of the original by Joe Blow, whoever you got to ink it. But here's the problem: if you have Joe Blow ink the Starlin and Gil Kane original over top of Starlin and Kane's fading inks, you no longer have those original fading or purple inks anyways. They're obliterated. Now all you have is Joe Blow's original 2023 tracing.
Right.
Right? That's the only original medium that you have on the page. The 2023 India ink that Joe Blow decided to trace down onto that original board. So the only original thing on that original 40-whatever-year-old board is left is the board itself. It's the original board, yeah. And once upon a time, Starlin penciled there and then inked it. But now the pencils and original fading or purplish inks are obliterated forever from that day forward.
Right.
That's why I'm so adamantly opposed to the practice. You're not saving the original. That's what I want to make clear here, that I think some people don't understand. Right? I think a lot of people that are on the opposite side of the argument than I am are thinking, well, it's better to keep it than let it fade away forever and losing it completely. I'm like, well, no. because they're like, it's better to preserve it. No, my argument is you are not preserving it. That's the problem. My argument is you are not preserving it. What you're doing is you're getting Joe Blow, right, who had nothing to do with it. And it doesn't even matter if he had anything to do with it. I don't care if it's Starlin. If it's Starlin, Starlin still doesn't have the same line he had 40 years ago. Okay? Even Starlin, I would not want to re-ink, because guess what? Even if Starlin traces over it, now all you really have is the original board and a 2023 recreation. The only media on that old board will be Jim Starlin's 2023 newly applied fresh inks to the old board, 40-year-old board. The original that was published is gone forever the second you cover it with more ink. You are not preserving it. You're talking about, see, my argument again is people who on the other side of the coin who say, oh, better to preserve it than letting it fade away completely, right? I say that's the problem in that argument, is that you are absolutely not preserving it. There is no way you can preserve fading ink. There isn't. It doesn't exist. You understand? So tracing it, you're obliterating it immediately, rather than, at least if you leave it alone, let's say it does fade away to nothingness another 40 years from now. It was not meant to be to have survived. It was production art in the first place. I know I feel bad if some of it goes away, but it wasn't meant to survive and be put on your walls or your portfolios. Okay. Now I will say, it seems to me, and I'm no expert in this, but it seems to me that the pages that turn purple, that they're not faded, but they just turned a pigment. Okay, it's a pigment color change. If you continue to keep them in portfolios and out of exposure to light, UV light, it seems that they stay pretty good. They don't seem to fade. Mm-hmm. So there's a good chance you may be able to continue to have these forever if you keep them out of the light. But bottom line, you are not preserving. Nobody who traces over a 40-year-old published piece of art, nobody is preserving that art just because it was fading or turned purple. You're not preserving it. You are destroying it immediately instead of preserving it. You're destroying it immediately, whereas Mother Nature at least may allow it to stay visible for another 30, 40, 50 years. Mm-hmm. I would love to see other people, and I know there's a ton of comments, which I have to go on to now. But yeah, I would love to see other people, argue, again, against my point. Because I really feel like on this topic, I don't think there's an argument you can make that could kind of defeat the points I just made. That this idea that you think you're preserving by tracing over it. It's not. You're not preserving it. Preserving would be if you had some awesome magical way to suddenly somehow darken the purpling inks or the fading black inks. If you somehow applied some chemical to the page and suddenly the inks rejuvenated themselves, then I guess it would be kind of, okay, you rejuvenated them and they're dark again, but it's still the original inks. That doesn't exist. That cannot be done, So I don't think, honestly, I'm not trying to be my word is all here, guy. But I'm willing to be proven wrong if you have a good argument against what I'm saying. But I just don't think that's a beatable argument. To me, are you really preserving it by tracing it with fresh ink? I don't care. Again, I don't care if it's the same artist. The same artist, all it means is they're making a kind of trace the recreation of the original, because they're covering up the original ink from 40 years ago. They're just tracing. All they're doing is tracing. So it's a brand new 2023 India ink layout of the original. So hence why some people are saying get the artist to copy it to do that tracing on a copy. So you still have the imagery. And if ever Marvel wanted to reprint those stories, or DC, maybe they could use those original boards of the traced recreations, the faithful recreations, if you will. But you no longer, as an original art collector, you no longer have the original if you have somebody trace over it. You don't. Anyways, let me move ahead with the comments to see if I can, as quickly as I can, to see what people are saying. Creating my own blue lines, as it were. Okay, those advocate of the inks cover the original pencils. What does re-inking hurt? What does re-inking hurt? Is it if it follows the original? Well, I've obviously already answered that, Hydra. So let me see if there's more comments from you down below to what I said. Not disclosed. Yes, exactly. It's not original anymore. Thank you, CJ. CGC the art. Who knows? Eventually, probably. Will has the unpublished Cosmic Odyssey TPB cover, which was re-inked. Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know, Caesar, because I wanted you guys to tell me of some more examples. I'd like to collect more examples for my files. So I'm gonna have to see if I can find that. So it is disclosed in the listing. Okay, so good for Will. I'm happy to hear that. That's awesome. Also on the art itself. Awesome. Very good. Very good. Out of curiosity, Caesar, who re-inked it? And is it mentioned who re-inked it? But yeah, that's sad. I would not see. I'm glad he did the right thing in revealing the truth. But now, good luck finding somebody who would look at that and want to own it. Let me see who this is a great example, Jason, right? Of let's see that unpublished Cosmic Odyssey #1 cover, and let's see if somebody buys it, right? Because then the people like in the audience tonight who are saying, oh, well, the people that are in the for camp, like I'm against. So the people that are in the for camp, oh yeah, trace it faithfully or whatever. Well, let me see if, there's a few people that are, quite a few people that are in that camp. They believe that that's good enough and that that's preserving. Let's see if anybody steps up and buys a piece that is listed as being re-inked in the modern era, and especially if it's re-inked by another person. We'll see, right?
Short of using something like CGC, do you think there's any way to make it standard in the hobby that if a page is restored in any way, that the restorer should sign the back of the page and say, I re-inked it, I color touched it.
I would love that. Everybody would love that. But don't we all love honesty? Don't we all wish there was nothing but 100% honesty in this hobby when sellers are selling stuff that they're having a hard time selling or whatever, right? There's no way to make sure that people are going to be honest. There really isn't. Listen, you can write it on back, and then you could still come along and like liquid paper the back so nobody sees it, right?
Right.
You could even put tape on the back and yank it off so that in hopes that it tears off a layer of the paper so that it does, you know what I mean? There's all kinds of shit you can do. And yeah man, people will do anything to not be the ones left holding the bag, Good number of original inkers from the 70s and 80s are getting up there. I don't think I take the chance that they produce that quality anymore. No, exactly. Right. They don't have the same line. It's not, it doesn't matter if it's the same artist. It's still a tracing anyways, even if they had the same line. My argument stands, even if they had exactly the same line. They don't, but even if they did, in a crazy hypothetical, even if they did, it's still a tracing, a 2023 tracing. And that's all it is. You've buried the original. It no longer exists anymore, man. No, a copy will be gray line. Okay. Gray lines. Yeah. Or you could do it blue line, whatever. Today's digital enhancements, you can. There's so much you can do, and that's what makes it even harder. I wonder how hard it would be to get the original scan for blue line inked pages. What do you mean? Blue line inked pages? I mean, they're sold as blue line inked pages. So if you're seeing them and buying them, it's because you saw a scan of the blue line inked pages, Murdoch. Maybe I misunderstood you, though. Clarify, please, if I misheard you or misunderstood you. So Joe Blow's a busy guy. Can you even get it on his list? I would love to get Joe Blow on my show. Actually, I wouldn't, because honestly, I'm so adamantly opposed to this whole practice, I don't think I could keep myself in check long enough and to keep from, blasting Joe Blow. Yeah, so I'm not sure it'd be a good idea to have a Joe Blow on, but thank you, Mike. It's a monoprint unless it has physical inks. Joe Blow is the man. It's an art. Hey, Ian. Okay, some hellos I can skip. Thank you, Karen. Karen's on my side. It's no longer original. Dan says, I agree with Ruben. Just too dangerous to touch the original. Thank you, Dan. Howdy, Hart. Ruben, I fully understand the art is now different. Okay, Hart. Rick. Okay, so Rick then follows up with, it becomes a recreation. Right. It's a modern day tracing recreation, whatever you want to call it. Hart then says, yes, correct, Rick. Total recreation. Okay, so just to clarify for us, Hart, are you now are you saying that you're willing to change your opinion and come over onto our side of the argument? Let me know, please. And by the way, when I say our, Jason, what side of the argument are you on at this point?
I'm right in the middle because I don't know, honestly.
Wow.
There's moments when I'm like, oh, I can see that, if you were lucky to own a page of Action Comics #1, original art, it's the first superhero genre comic, it's Superman, and you have the original page and it's fading, it's over 80 years old, and not letting that just go into oblivion, is it worth preserving? And then the question would be, well, how do you preserve it? Is it you get a photostat that, an overlay that you can look, okay, it used to look like this is what it looks like now. Do you get a photocopy of it and have somebody play with the photocopy, or do you have somebody go right onto the board? And I think Dan has in the comments, when you look at the great masters and somebody cleans a Rembrandt or, does something to one of those paintings, it's restoration. So I guess the question is, what's more important, the medium that the artist laid on the canvas, or the image that the artist wanted to convey? And if you have somebody who can perfectly, I don't know that it'd be perfectly, but if you have somebody who can pretty closely recreate the image, you can at least say, I have an original artist X work. It's the image that artist X created. It's no longer the medium that they laid down, but
Well, okay, so then how can you call it the original work? Yes, the image is theirs. But this is a wonderful thing that you said, Jason, because it goes to my argument, well, not an argument, but just my opinion about the whole blue line topic, where I have no problem with blue lines if they're, priced fairly enough. Like, I'm fine with blue lines. And I've always been on record saying, when you have the inks, let's say it's inks by Joe Blow, pencils by Neil Adams, but like blue line pencils by Neil Adams. But when you look at the art, the image is an image created by Neil Adams. It's clear that the art is by Neil Adams, right? But the original medium on the page is inked by the inker, right? Yep. But it's still, if you're looking at pretty comic book pictures and you're happy to look at pretty pictures by your favorite penciler, it still looks exactly like Neil Adams because it is Neil Adams. It's just that the original medium, right, is not Adams's, right? Only the inks are real. But what you're saying, is trace over the original, not a blue line, the original, and you're saying you think it's still, you have an original, let's say it's Neil Adams again. You're thinking it's, or let's say, no, let's use the same two artists, Jim Starlin, Gil Kane. So you have a Captain Marvel page, a Death of Captain Marvel by Jim Starlin. And now you're saying you think, in your mind, you feel you still have an original Starlin. What I will say, if we want to get more specific about this, is that what you have at that point, Jason, is you have the original board to page 42 of the Death of Captain Marvel graphic novel that Jim Starlin originally penciled and inked, but which in 2023, Joe Blow came by, he got paid, and did a beautiful, immaculate tracing of it. So now the inks look fresh, and the page still has the original color from 40, the aged 40-year-old color, but the inks look fresh. But the inks are by Joe Blow. The image is Starlin art, but the original art, the original medium on the page is Joe Blow. There's no more original Starlin art there. It has been permanently covered up by Joe Blow.
Right.
That's what you have.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Well,
I know. So I like playing both sides. I like playing both sides, but
yeah, for sure.
I think I'm a purist because I like when the page looks. I don't want it to be yellowed like it was laid out in the sun, but I like a 50-year-old page to sort of look like it's a 50-year-old page.
I love that it has age. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Whether someone's grandchildren inherits a page and they still want it to look like, I don't know. It's hard to know. Like you don't want to see a piece of art that you really are passionate about just fade out into oblivion, but maybe that's what comic art is meant to do. Most of us, it'll last our lifetime, and then the grandkids will look for something else.
Right. That's as much as it pains people to think of the idea that, oh, it might fade away one day and not exist anymore. Again, it's true. These people never create, these artists, they never created this for your pleasure as an original comic art collector. The artwork was a byproduct of the ultimate end product, which was the comic book. That's a fact. You can't argue that. That is a fact. Okay?
Right.
That's why the originals exist as a byproduct for the end product, which is the comic book. It was not meant to be in your portfolios or on your walls. So, yes, is it sad if it fades away and never exists anymore? Of course it's sad. But when you really fully understand how comic art was created, why it was created, then you kind of understand too that maybe it was meant to. Whatever. Things happened the way they did. For a few short years, a few artists used markers. They didn't do anything wrong. They got the job done, and they got it done quickly to meet deadlines, what they were supposed to do. Right?
Right.
They didn't have any way of knowing that anybody was going to want to put it on walls and that they were going to be worth thousands of dollars each. So that's it. So here, Caesar, I love Caesar. Everybody knows I love Caesar. You guys all know I got a lot of love for Caesar. And he's calling it restoration. Save the art, he says. And I'm saying, you're so wrong, Caesar. It's not restoration. You haven't restored it unless you can figure out a way to rejuvenate the original inks. Tracing over them with brand new ink is not. It's not restoration. And I know you're going to start saying, oh, what about the fine art from 500 years ago? You have these guys doing all this in painting, and they have a whole bunch of, hundreds of tiny little paint flecks that are missing that they had to put in. Okay, but for the most part, as an overall percentage of the overall painting, right, most of them are still the original paint. Okay, it's apples and oranges. So I don't want to get into that because it is apples and oranges. And if you want to know truthfully, if the Sistine Chapel or whatever your favorite fine art paintings are, whether they be 100 years old, or 500 or 600 years old, if you want to ask me, you think that's more important than comic art? Yeah, I do. Tough titties for you if you don't agree with that. But I do believe that is, I don't even have the words to tell you how far beyond comic book art that stuff is in terms of absolute skill and ability and artistry as a whole. Okay? And I'm saying that as a guy who loved comics his whole life. Okay? And loved the art form of comic book storytelling. Okay? And respects comic book storytelling more than anybody. Okay? But that's also my opinion. I still do believe it makes a hell of a lot more sense for many reasons we can't get into, because this is not going to go, the show can't go all night. But I do absolutely believe that fine art, from 500 years ago, you're Michelangelo, Donatello, whatever, whoever, Van Gogh from not that long ago, you know, even if it was Picasso from 40 years ago, 50, 60, whatever. Yes, I believe the fine art, well, I guess we should stick to that stuff that's really, you know, 100, 200, 300, in the hundreds of years old. That's the stuff that gets, you know, sort of restored more often. I do believe that they should do that. And I don't consider it the same thing as re-inking somebody's fading inks. Yes, Jason.
Let me ask a question, and don't name any names.
Okay.
But in your years in the hobby,
what's up, Geeks and Drinks?
Have you run across that all dealers will at one point or another sell restored art, or not restored, I guess, re-inked art, or are there certain dealers that are more notorious than others?
Honestly, I don't think that the re-inking process, it doesn't have a large history. It hasn't been happening for that many years to begin with, you know. So it's not a large scale problem by any means.
Yeah.
So let's put that out there.
Because I was just wondering that if you knew dealer A is the one that has everything re-inked to look better, and nobody will buy from dealer A because the word gets out, then hopefully that process fades, or at least disclosure becomes more apparent. But if everybody in the hobby does it because there comes a time when they just want to, that's going to be really hard to police and correct. And
exactly. If that ever became the norm, that if people kept doing that, again, you have to remember too, I don't know the price, but given the meticulous amount of carefulness and the time that it will take the artist to have to do a faithful tracing, where they can't allow any of their own sort of style and line to show through, you know. Given how meticulous that the work is, I can't imagine it's very cheap just because of the time involved, right? So I'm hoping that factor will keep it as a very, very minimal thing that doesn't happen too often, kind of thing, you know. But as for answering your question, yeah, I don't know. First of all, I don't know that anybody does it more than anybody else. I don't know, you know. I only find out, like I said, I only ever tend to find out when I see something that looks odd to me, because in the back of my mind, I seem to have a faint memory of it looking different somehow. So then I go into my archives and I'm like, let me see if I have that scan. And then when I see, oh, I do have it. It used to be one of those faded pages. That's why it looked odd to me. And that's when I saved the new scan. So I have, you know, before and after that I can show people in case any of my friends ever get unknowingly fucked, which is how I feel they'd be getting if they bought one and didn't know it. You know?
Well, I think a show like this is helpful because, you know, to somebody like Karen and me who are newer in the hobby, now if I were going for a Gil Kane page or a Starlin page and I know the vintage of it now, but it's perfectly black, I better think about who's touched it, you know. So
yeah, no, exactly, and you know that'll be the sort of death knell for the hobby if this practice ever became something that was so common to where everybody is suddenly doubting what they have or wondering, you know. Yeah, so hopefully it never does, as I say. Mark, are there any pages you think should be conserved for historical reasons? Conserve, yes, but retracing, Mark, in my opinion, and again, I don't want to come off as that guy, sound like the asshole, and think my thoughts are the end all be all. But on this given specific topic, I really do feel that my argument is beyond reproach. I don't believe that you are conserving comic book art that's been published comic book art, if you retrace it. I don't believe that's conservation. So that's the other argument. That should be the first and foremost argument. You know, people are saying, should we do this? Should we do this? And some people are for it. Some people are against it. I'm thinking, no, the conversation should be, when you're asking should it be conserved or not, when you're talking about re-inking art, I'm saying, okay, that's the first conversation. Don't even call it conservation. Don't say you're conserving it, because you're not really conserving it. You're not. So that's my argument to that. What if the inks on the 15 pages of the Library of Congress started fading? I mean, that's such a hypothetical, because we know they're not fading. They're not going to be fading. It's done in India ink. They're as fresh looking now as they were when they were laid down by Steve Ditko. Not going to happen. So it's, I don't want to deal in those types of hypotheticals, But I will answer this, Mark. Let me answer this. If you're talking about re-inking them, then you're destroying them. As historical as they are, don't forget, copies of the comic book will always exist. And that's what the original art was intended for, not for being shown at the Library of Congress, right? The original pages were intended to be used at the printer to make hundreds of thousands of copies that we call comic books. So the art will always exist. The imagery will always exist, The originals were not intended to always be around. So if they started fading, no, I would not be in favor of having them re-inked. You're destroying them if you do that. If they fade in another 150 years, oh well, whatever. They lasted as long as they did. We had them for as long as we did. Cool. They were never intended to last. This was not fine art or even commercial illustration intended for us to be glamorizing and putting on walls. So whatever happens, happens. Maki Poopa says, depends on the art. Da Vinci's Salvator Mundi was restored and sold for 450 million. Yeah, well, like I said before, to me, Da Vinci is, any Da Vinci work is heads and shoulders above every comic book artist that ever existed. So I don't want to argue about that. That's my opinion. That stuff deserves it. And again, it's not like it's being completely repainted over either, Maki Poo, right? Let's be honest. The vast majority of paintings from that era that are being restored are not being completely over painted. They're having, right, all the paint chips that fall off, added back, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And yes, on some, there's larger areas, blah, blah, blah. I get it. Yes, that's different. It's not the same as completely tracing over comic book art. You're completely tracing over it. It's you can't compare it to the fine art thing. So that's it. So Rich, aside from comic art, a lot of historic painting museums. I guess I'm behind on comments by 20 minutes. Sorry, guys. Been touched up by yes. We've already talked about that, so I won't try that again. Didn't go for an amazing Kubert cover because it was markers. Yeah, man, you got to make the decision that's right for you, Hydra. You know what I mean? For sure. Restoration is more widely accepted in fine art. That's a good point. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. And it's different, Kavi. I'm saying it's different. It ain't the same to in-paint the missing, paint on those works of art as it is to trace over the art that's right there already, right? They're in-painting. They're not repainting over the original. They're adding back paint where it's missing. So apples and orange, like I said, it's not the same thing. The way I see it, I would be doing the re-inking only for myself with no plans to sell it. Yeah, but it's not your art permanently hard, right? Eventually, we all expire. We all die, right? Eventually. So the art will outlast us, typically. So you can't think of it as it only being yours. It's yours as long as you're alive, yeah. But eventually you die, and it'll move on to somebody else. You got to think of it in terms of what's best for the artwork, not what's best for me as a collector. That's what I say, Man, I got so much to catch up. Okay, contacts. Meeting. Okay. I would throw a message on the back of the provenance after I die, but I'm fully aware that the page is long done by the said artist. Right. Yeah, thank you. Of course, it's a valid point. Exactly. Then, so here's an interesting issue. Many fine art pieces. Okay. Except blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, I already talked about that, Dan. I hope whatever I said sort of is enough. We don't want art that has been re-inked. I'd rather have the original. Thank you, Karen. Hey, Steve. Oh, saying hello to Steve. Display the copies. Yeah. On the Cosmic Odyssey, it says it was Starlin. Okay, so it says Starlin, which faded, and then they hired. Oh wow, McLeod is now in on this too, huh? Wow,
That's totally changing it. That's now McLeod's. I mean, well, I guess it's always totally changing. It's now
always totally changing it. Yeah. I appreciate the extra knowledge on that one there, Caesar. Sorry. Oh no, Naughty or Nice. Naughty or Nice did it this time. Yeah, thanks, man. I'm not gonna say who you are. I know who Naughty or Nice is now, but I'm not gonna reveal the name. But the original pencil scans that were used to create the blue line. Oh, that's okay. What you were saying from earlier. Yeah, thank you. Scrunk, I agree with you. Any touching up is restoration work. Well, I don't say it's touching up is one thing. Re-inking, ink that's already there, that's not restoration. You're not restoring anything. You're just redrawing. You're retracing over it. So, but yeah, not original. There are several Joe Blows. They need the money to eat. Marcus knows who the Joe Blows are. We'll see if Marcus wants to name some of the Joe Blows. We already know Bob McLeod is one. Don't know how many Bob has done, but the Joe blowing his top. McLeod re-inked the cover. On the cover, it is signed. Yeah, just below the signature. Restoration. Yeah, see, I hate that. I hate that because it's not restoration. Why wouldn't see? That's the thing.
At least there's disclosure, right? Though at least there's disclosure in that piece.
But it's not really disclosure. Like, what did you restore? What exactly did you do? I want to know when there's restoration and it's disclosed. You should be able to know what was done to it.
Right.
Why wouldn't you say freshly re-inked by Bob McLeod? Why? Because restoration sounds better. It sounds like, maybe there was some little block of black in the corner that nobody gives a crap about, and that was missing some ink. Oh, and he filled it in. Oh, it's restored now, but the rest of it is all original. You know what I'm saying? Saying it's restored sounds so much better than telling the fucking truth. That's the problem. That's why that admission on the back is still not good enough. It's not restored. You didn't restore it. Okay? No. Retraced. Sorry, traced. Completely traced over by Bob McLeod. How about that? Say that, and then you're being honest. Then you're being fully honest. That's not good enough. I'm sick of making excuses for people, who do things like that and make it sound like, oh yeah, look, I was honest. You were partially honest, yeah, but that's not good enough. It just isn't. Your willingness to do it also depends on the money and significance of the page. Everybody's going to do what they want to do because everybody, thanks, Hydra. Everybody, they feel they own the art when it's in their collection. As long as they currently own it, they feel they do what they want with it. Okay, but I'm just saying, you got to think more about what's good for the art, not for the collector. But anyways, I'd rather ink it myself in the It's only original ones. Thank you, CJ. Imagine re-inking a Wrights and Frankenstein plate. Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my God, no. I have more of an issue with the published stuff. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, because it has been published. It looks exactly a certain way. Who knows? If you take some of these re-ink pages and you actually took the time to magnify glass them, right, the way Jason was doing on the thumbnail for this episode, you might start seeing. I'm sure I would see if I took 2 hours to study one of these re-ink pages. I bet you, no problem. I can have them side by side, and I bet you I would start circling areas where I could see the tiniest little differentials. So Hart, let me ask you a question then. Yes, please. I guess I'm getting to it. Oh, is it here? If Kane was inked by, say, John Dell, which nobody should ever hire, and I love John Dell, okay, from the modern contemporary era, okay, the last 30 years or so, I would never hire one of these guys who never worked over, he's from a completely different era. I hate when people get those completely different era inkers to ink over the work of more, different era pencilers. But anyways, that's a preference thing. Anyways, a lot of people do it just because, it's cheap. It's cheaper to get, some modern day guy to do it. And the modern day artists are thrilled in most cases. Oh my God, you're going to pay me and I get a chance to ink over a Gil Kane page? Wow. They love it, So the art is now a John Dell art, or is it still in your mind Kane? So to be clear, Hart, if it was a page, like the whole page, right? The whole thing's kind of like, let's say a Superboy cover, New Adventures of Superboy, some of which have been Kane used only a marker, and they've either turned purple or partially turned purple, you know? And on some covers, that's the thing, everybody, you should know, on some covers, some pages, some of the page or covers are purplish looking, and other parts are still black. That's the sad part, you know? So it looks even worse. But yes, the answer is, it's not an easy, it's not a quick, it's an easy answer, but not a quick one, Hart, because that's the problem. You have to be specific now. What you have at that point is a 1984, let's say, to pick a year, 1984 board that used to be the original Gil Kane cover, but it turned purple or faded, and then somebody paid John Dell to re-ink it. So the only original medium, the only original art on the board as we see it now is, yes, the John Dell inks. So yeah, that's what I would say. There's no quick way to explain it. You got to be specific and precise about it. So that's how I feel about that. I've been a publisher. Jason Moore, what's up? Inker for Marvel, DC, Dark Horse since the late 80s. I can understand trying to save the artwork, but as an inker myself, I would have to turn down a job like this. Thank you, Jason, for understanding the difference, right? The difference between restoring and what you're actually doing. It's not restoring. That's the problem. Thank you, Jason. And yes, I'm well aware of who you are, but thanks for letting all of us know. So there you go. That's interesting from the point of view of an inker. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so long. My Captain America comics #1 is restored. Okay, but now we're talking about comics. I don't want to compare restoring printed matter versus original art. But thank you for the comment, #1 Marvel fan. I got to catch up. Sorry. To me, it would be destroying the actual original artwork, says the inker Jason Moore, everyone. That's where he's on my side of the fence. That's where I stand. You are immediately obliterating the originals. Doesn't matter that they were faded or purple. They are what they are. They're in the condition that they were in. But as soon as you re-inked it, they're gone. The original's gone. You've destroyed it. So not only have you not preserved it or conserved it, I believe you've destroyed the original. The original may fade away in 40, 50, 100 more years, but at least we have it for 40, 50, 100 more years, rather than re-inking it and destroying it and not having it anymore from today onward. So that's about all I need to say. I think I've made my point clear there. Oh, sorry, that was the old one. Alex Toth page where the ink's faded. It's all the fine marker lines that could never be recreated as they were. Since Alex Toth passed, I will have to live with it until Magic Tonic is invented. Thank you, Alex. Adam, sorry. Adam AJ Law. What's the AJ? You haven't told us what the AJ is. Murdoch, I kind of want to look up what are the rules for art restoration for fine art. I don't think there are rules. You know, they do whatever they think is okay to do, you know? I think what you're describing is a whole new concept of restoration, as others have mentioned. Again, bootlegging, by the way, good evening, bootlegging. I want to be clear that I can only speak for myself. We all have our opinions. Me, I will never say that that's restoration. So I do not want to say it's a whole new concept of restoration. I don't. It is not restoration in any shape or form. It's ruination. To me, you're ruining. You're destroying permanently the stuff that was there. Felix is going to be repping Joe Blow soon if we keep name dropping him. Awesome, Kavi. Love that one. Ruben, does your opinion change if it is? It will never change. If it is an unpublished piece, no. Say an aging commission that is fading, no, Rich, because I've seen that as well. And I will say this, Rich. The only thing I will say is that it makes me feel, okay, at least it wasn't published, right? Where like you can look at the published version in a comic book somewhere, and then maybe there's a chance that the original is a little bit different, right? You can see little tiny deviations, right? Because you can compare. But since, I don't feel it's as important when it's like, some con sketch, but I'm still saying it's wrong and I wouldn't do it. I still wouldn't do it. If it fades, it fades. That's just my, and by the way, Rich, I just want to say, I have owned a purpling a con sketch in the past. I didn't waste my time getting it re-inked because I know, to me, it wouldn't be the original anymore. It'd be something brand new, a brand new tracing. So that's it. I sold it as is, I would use a magic tonic if, that's what, but it's proven safe, but haven't had any attempt to redo it. That's not Alex Toth. Yeah. I still wouldn't even do it even if it was Alex Toth. Hey, Jeff, our friend Jeff tuned in tonight. Awesome. Joe Blow art jumping up in price next Heritage. It's fully the original art, but Joe Blow has restored it. Nah, he hasn't. It's Joe Blow's original inks from 2023 is what it is. So he has destroyed the original and covered it with his own original. That's what you have. Yeah, it's still original art. Yeah, but it's Joe Blow's original art, not the other guys. Them's fighting words, bootlegging. Hey, what's up, Derek? Joe Blow's Facebook page. Okay, greetings, chatters. Okay, while chopping brush in the backyard. Awesome. Good to see you, Jeff. I want to know what some institutions like Smithsonian says and what their rule. Yeah, but they don't give a shit about comic book art. I mean, they'll give a shit about something like Amazing Fantasy 15 because somebody gave it to them for free. Of course, they'll give a shit then. But on the whole, they don't give a shit about comic book art. So let's not pretend they do. Re-inking is definitely not restoration. Thank you, Jeff. He's right on that. Those of you who know Jeff will know he knows a little bit about the conservation field. Jumping back in after pizza. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. Yeah, everybody, please. Did you get more likes? How many do we have now? I can't see from this, from inside my software. I can never see. So get some likes in there, please, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate it, Nick. And I will be promoting you in a second. You know what? Actually, thank you for coming back in. I know it's and I'm behind and I'm trying to catch up and everything. But let me put, I declare the legit restoration. Wow. We will agree to disagree on that one and leave it there, bootlegging. So, okay, everybody, please do not forget to tune in on Friday, this Friday coming, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, to the original art experience only on youtube.com/theexp. And, well, that's the precise channel. But also he's on other platforms like Facebook. And, oh, God, Nick, you might as well tell everybody. I forget the other platforms. Twitch, I believe Twitch, and other ones. And great fun show. Nick's been selling quite a lot of art lately. Some entry-level stuff as well as expensive stuff. Higher end, lower end, what have you. But more often than not, entry-level stuff for entry-level collectors. So always a fun time. And it's also a combination talk show as well as sales show. So that's really what makes it fun as well. So please check that out. And Nick, I hope you're still there because I know I'm like 20 some odd minutes behind on the comments. But Nick, I mentioned last week, you probably weren't there. You got to get somebody to put all your shows as soon as they're scheduled on YouTube, have them put it immediately into the playlist so I can find it because I'm having trouble finding your shows. And so I can't put a direct link to your shows. Or have somebody email me the links, man. Otherwise, it's tough, man. It's tough. So sorry about that, but I don't have a link because of that. But okay, let's get back to the show, everybody. Adam says, I will say, though, that in fine art, in the fine art world, you can retouch a painting. Okay, well, we've talked about that. So I'm sorry if I'm obviously way behind here, 25 minutes. Let's go. Medium age and context will determine widely acceptable restoration practice. Thank you, sir. That is very true. This is your fine art. It is. It is for most collectors. It is. I get it, Ian, for sure. So does OA collecting need unique rules? I mean, look, it's not about rules, Dan. Like nobody gets to be the arbiter of what happens and what doesn't happen. Unfortunately, people will do whatever they want while they own the art. So I don't think it's about rules because who makes up the rules? Nobody, who's going to get to make up the rules? And in this kind of a hobby, that if anybody did make up rules, it would be some of these long-time collector guys who are known for maybe having spent, hundreds of thousands of dollars on Frazetta pages, Frazetta pieces, whatever, blah, 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 right? As if that somehow gives them any kind of, makes them any kind of an authority on what should be done vis-a-vis, restoration, not restoration, and blah, 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 right? Like, nobody should ever be the arbiter, the final arbiter on, making up rules for the hobby. Things will evolve. The hobby always evolves, and things will happen as it happens. And we just hope that on this topic that people do the right thing. That's all I can say. Some of you may think what I say is not the right thing. That's okay. You have the right to believe that. Just like I firmly believe that what my position and my argument is absolutely the right thing and should supersede all other opinions. My friend and fellow Canadian, Mike Davis. What is up, sir? Holy shit. Been a while. I am against any significant re-inking for sure, but in 2020, I did have Rubenstein re-ink a burned cap page. That Joe originally inked. Just a few motion lines and shield circles that were marker fading. Okay. I'm happy that it was just a few lines, and I would love to see the before and after, Mike. If you could email me that, I would love to see that. So thank you. Thank you, by the way, not only for tuning in for the first time in a long time. Always love to see you. I wish I could have seen you in person. By the way, Jeff Singh's having, like I expected, and I suspected, he's having another collector gathering in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from tonight or from yesterday. So I hope you can make it. I hope you're going to be there. But yeah, if you can show me that, I'd love it. If not, that's cool. But yes, I'm happy that at least if it's a few lines here and there, I can kind of live with that. But again, when it's gone from your collection, is somebody going to know? Even if you tell the truth, is that person going to tell the truth to the next guy? Probably not. That's why I don't like it, But it's far more acceptable to me than, re-inking all these, these Death of Captain Marvel pages and Gil Kane covers that have, mostly faded or purpled inks, Re-inking art is the tip of the iceberg of alterations that have been done to publish comic art. So many other things are also done in this goes. Yeah, and it's not like I missed your comment before, Rich, about, what we think about other types of restoration. I wanted to let you know. I wanted to maybe wait and get to it later if we have time. But tonight, I wanted to keep it on the topic of re-inking. Sorry, man. I just want to sort of stick to the topic as long as people are talking about it. And apparently they are because I'm so behind. So going in the 70s. So I don't know what that means. Sorry, I'm so behind. There is undisputed proof of a dealer re-inking and adding to a Paul Pope cover and then reselling it, man. Undisputed proof? Mike, if you're willing to share privately, since you're not willing to do it publicly, I would love to hear more about it privately if you're willing. Collectors will never boycott a dealer collector because they want the art more than their dignity. It's sad to say, but that is the truth. That's how it is. I have plenty of people tell me, yeah, I know. People have been screwed by dealers, and they know it. And I'm kind of telling them what they should do, and they're like, yeah, I know, but like I can't help it. But like they have all the art I want. I buy from them more than anybody else, All right. So if your dignity is worth getting screwed over like that, then, because that's what it comes down to, right? When you think about it, that's what it comes down to. So you gotta, and people do know. People do know, but they're willing to bypass it, whatever, anything to get the art. So how about lettering on a page? Art itself is fine, but the lettering has faded. I don't know, man. It's kind of weird to speak in hypotheticals of examples I've never seen. That's weird. I've never heard of that or seen it. Is it okay to get the lettering re-inked? Okay, I'll answer it anyways, Caesar, even though it's a hypothetical. I'll answer it simply because I know the answer to me is quicker for this. My answer is yes, it's okay to re-ink the lettering. I would still wish that somebody would write on back lettering re-inked or whatever, but yes, because the lettering, although the act of lettering comic books is an art unto itself, I say that more as it's almost like using it as a it's an art, right? It's an art, but the final product, the lettering itself, the final product left is not art. So I don't know if that makes sense to any of you, but letters themselves I would have no problem. Again, I still want to know though. I don't want somebody selling me a piece where the lettering was re-inked, okay, and not disclosed. I still have a problem with it, but nowhere near the problem as re-inking artwork. Artwork is artwork. Lettering is just for the story. It just tells you what's happening in the story. So yeah, lettering is different. And I am that guy, aren't you? To you, I am, I guess.
Yeah, I think disclosure is the key. I mean, because then it's up to the buyer. If they don't care what's been done to it, but they know what they're getting, then that's fair. It's up to them. But
yeah, and look, exactly, I agree with that. And Comic Art Boston says you check back 26 minutes ago. Getting the original inker to ink may be fine, but I personally wouldn't do it. So that's the thing. It still wouldn't, to you, it still wouldn't be fine. In your opinion, it would not be fine, Cab. It would not. Otherwise, you would do it. So that's all I have to say about that. Are you saying if the original artist does it, it should not count? It's not about counting, but I know what you're saying, Nick. That's exactly what I'm saying. I think I already cleared it. You probably heard this 27 minutes ago. So let's move on. Yes, exactly. It doesn't matter if it's the original because it's no longer the original inks applied 40 years ago. It's not a vintage piece. It is now a modern 2023 recreation, or not recreation, but a tracing, to be more specific. Hey, Scott. So the Rubin alternative is it fades to zero. As I said, Scott, they're not all fading to zero. I believe, based on all the examples I've seen, I believe that the ones that turned purple and faded, turned purple because to the degree that they did, because of the amount of time that they were exposed to UV rays. Okay? Because there are plenty of them that are very rich looking purple or average looking darkness, if you will, of that purple color. It looks like they have not faded at all, only turned pigmentation, right? So to me, it seems that as long as they are protected from the UV light, okay, it does appear that they will last for as long as India ink will, or whatever the case may be. But if you want a simple, straight answer to your question, yes, if it fades to zero and is lost forever, then that was what was meant to happen. Yes. That is exactly where I stand. It was not meant to last in the first place, so yes. If it fades away in 40 more years, whatever, then that's, if one day the page doesn't exist, so be it, yes. Yes, because guess what, Scott? It does not, at least you get whatever amount of time is left before it fades permanently, completely 100%. But if you get a guy to trace over it, you have destroyed it. That guy has destroyed it, and you paid a guy to destroy the art. You have covered the original permanently forever. It can never be uncovered again. So yes, I would rather it fade in decades from now completely than to be re-inked. And to me, that's having it destroyed today. So yeah, that's where I stand. So that's also Library of Commerce approach too, Scott. Yeah. Oh, you see, Scott? Nice. So letting it fade forever is the approach that the Library of Congress takes, says Jeff Wedding. Thank you. They understand. It was meant to, it was meant to. So in a badly deteriorating piece, perhaps a blue line reproduction, that is what we talked about earlier. It might be an imperfect solution. Exactly, it is. It's still not the original, but it preserves the image, right? In an original fashion, some original media, even though it's not the original media. Exactly. So get a clear overlay done for the lettering, Caesar. Yep, there is no perfect answer. We can all disagree to this. Yeah, agree to disagree. Absolutely. I will skip the hellos. Superhero, we got a new guy in our midst. Hey, Superhero, thank you for coming in. I hope that you're enjoying the show. And if this is your first time, I hope you're enjoying it. And I hope you come back in the future. Please, if you don't mind hitting the like button, I would also appreciate that. And if you really enjoy it, subscribe. That would be cool too. So any alterations from the original art, except maybe pressing and whitening, are forging the art. You can no longer represent it as the original, and I think it would destroy the value. Absolutely. Thank you. You're saying exactly how I feel. Jason, any thoughts to that?
I'm sorry. I was reading a Karen comment You
Oh.
haven't gotten to it yet, but it
Okay.
should be on a T-shirt, I guess. I'll save it. I'll wait.
Okay.
So sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think superhero is making the point that you and others have made. You know, once you apply a new person's work on top of the original, it's something different. It's a recreation. You've swayed me to your argument.
Okay. Okay, good. Nick, Da Vinci may be better than comic art, but let's all agree that comic art is greater than Van Gogh. I'm not going to agree to that. I know you're just giving a little winky wink, whatever, but I'm not touching that. Although I guess I kind of did just touch it, but that's funny. Thanks, Nick. So Mark is back to say the AF-15 pages intended to be preserved or archived. No, they weren't. Not when they were created. They were intended simply to be photographed for publication. But the historical and cultural context has changed since the pages were originally drawn. Then he says, oh, okay, you copied the same thing twice. Okay. Yeah, no, they were not intended to be preserved or archived. They were not. They were intended to be drawn simply for the fun of 6 to 8 year old children everywhere. Yeah, in the form of, not even in the form of showing them the original, but rather in the form of cheaply printed copies of the originals called comic books. Yeah. And that's it. So I also said it was different, but you're an hour behind. I know, Coffee. I know. You'll see that in an hour. No, not quite an hour, but maybe half an hour. Sorry, guys. Sometimes the result is unfortunately a result of circumstances. Starlin, for example, had a bad hand injury, so used markers to help him. Yeah, I know. But still, whatever. It is what it is. They did it for the reasons they used it doesn't matter. And that shouldn't be, it's not a problem. It wasn't meant to be posted on our walls and collected. So I totally agree. Okay, so I'm gonna have to skip that just because you're talking to another person. So sure, Cab, I think there should be some standards for preservation. Okay. Okay, they're talking to each other. I'll let you guys keep going with that. Sorry, man, been too long. Your argument of what? I'm assuming you're talking about my argument of why it should, that it's not, first of all, that it's re-inking, it's not considered preservation or restoration, and the argument of why you shouldn't do it. CJ, that crayon could make it worth more, but I wouldn't take the risk. It's a relatively small proportion of, thankfully it's a relatively small proportion of all the comic art. If they fade completely, re-inking preserves them. There are many meanings of preservation. You're not preserving them. You're just creating a re-inking, right? So that's why some people on my side of the argument are saying, just copy it. Make a photocopy of the original and have Joe Blow ink that. You'll still have the image, right? You'll have preserved the image, right? Do it that way. Just don't re-ink the original inks. You're destroying it right then and there if you do that. Anyone come across any original comic art that is completely faded or almost completely faded? Yes, like Rich said earlier, some Teen Titans, at least one new Teen Titans cover from the early 80s is barely visible. It will be very, very rare. Even my Starling page is still acceptable. Yeah, but it is rare that the super, super, almost completely faded ones. Yeah, that not many of those exist. And I believe, that's why I firmly believe that mostly because people finally began to protect them. And that's the reason, Frank Frazetta would alter some of his own paintings after they were published because he felt they were unfinished. No, he felt that he could improve upon them. Barry Windsor Smith enhanced many of his Valiant pages after publication too. And I think both reasons were stupid. A lot of collectors agree with me. Your mileage may vary, but thanks for bringing that up, Rick. Good topic. Extreme situation, re-inking might be justifiable. Not in my mind. Otherwise, one is just cutting one's nose to spite one's face. I don't agree with that one, but we can agree to disagree, as you said. Rick, at least it was the same artist. Yeah, still wouldn't do it. Oh, AJ Law. Okay. Oh, but the A in AJ stands for Adam, right? But then what's the J? But anyways, okay. AJ Law. Thanks, man. So, yeah, get me a few likes, everybody. Please hit the like button. I'd appreciate that. Likes are very free. Support is priceless. And it helps the algorithm. Absolutely. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it. So at the end of the day, to each his or her own, so long as everything is disclosed. And that's the problem we talked about earlier, is that it unfortunately doesn't get disclosed. Okay, so I'm caught up to about 20 minutes back. Bob, my friend Bob. Wow. Bob Copman, also from the greater Toronto area. I haven't thought about it too much, but I agree with you. Thank you. Think about it some more, Bob. And Bob, I'm so sorry. Jeff told me that you're not going to be able to make it to his art gathering in a couple of weeks. I can't believe I'm not going to see you for another year. I hope maybe you can change your plans and make it. But good to see you here. So cool, man. Good night, Vivian. Okay. You're okay. Vivian left. Okay. That was already 20 minutes ago. Bye, Vivian. Thank you. Okay. So Caesar, your argument of what's good for the art versus what's good for the collector. Wouldn't saving the art be better for the art continue its existence versus? Yeah. I get that argument, right? Versus you as the collector who doesn't like the idea of re-inking. I get the argument, Caesar, but I still stand by what I said, which is, you may have already commented down below after this, but yes, I still stand by the fact that it's not what's good for the art. I believe it's not good for the art. You've destroyed the art if you re-inked it all. So that's where I stand on that. Good night, Vivian. So it depends on the art and the context. It's a case-by-case basis. Okay. I agree with that, Maki Pupu, in the sense that certainly how much of it is purple or how much of it is fading, like Mike Davis said earlier, he had a few stray lines here and there in a couple of spots. I'd be a little bit more accepting of that, So EXP me, that was a while ago. Fading can also occur on color guides. That's very true. Although very rare, because they usually use Dr. Martin's dyes, and most of those are vibrant as the day they were colored. Mm-hmm. So that's rare. I wouldn't even consider the Storm Death cases falling within that extreme category. Okay. And yes, I was right. You were on Twitch. Oh, and Twitter. I didn't know Twitter. Thank you for clearing that up, Nick. Hi, Nick. Hi, Nick. Hi to everybody. So I'm still on the don't touch published, but you did discuss fine art is adding paint, but paint is still there. You're adding paint to empty areas where paint flaked off on the fine art. What if slight speck of white broke through a heavy inked spot on art? A tiny white speck? Go ahead and ink it yourself if you want, Ian. Nobody's ever going to know, okay? So thanks, CJ. Hi, Cab. Everybody saying hello. Hi, Karen. Is that your T-shirt? Oh, look at that, Comic Art Boss. I don't know if you're still around, but not only is it her T-shirt, but it's like exclusive, baby. It's exclusive. Do you see my name? Name and number, baby. Yes. All right. So would you want continuity of the original? Oh, sorry. Is that the one that did I just do it? Oh, no. So would you want continuity of the original or a new missing speck of white in the middle? Like I said, I've had pages. I probably still have pages that have a little specks of white, where the ink didn't cover up the page. It's not because the ink flaked, just because, a big black area was inked in quickly and a tiny, tiny speck of white was left uninked. I leave it like that. If it bothers you, go ahead and dab it with your marker or whatever it is that you want to do, Ian. Whatever. A tiny speck, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Nobody's going to know anyway, so yeah. Yes. Thank you, Nick. Yes, please do that. That would make it so much easier for me and for everybody else, by the way. For everybody else to find the show when you put it immediately into its own playlist. Yeah. So thank you. So half the fun is trying to find that week's show. Oh, God, 2 minutes ahead. Marcus makes the rules. Okay, Karen, do no prize winners on your website get one too? What are you worried about, Cab? You haven't won a no prize yet. Housewarming gifts are Sienkiewicz paintings. Oh, I missed that. What's that based about? Housewarming gifts or Sienkiewicz? Sorry, Marcus. Sorry, dude. I'm trying to catch up. I'm getting there. I will offer shirts at some point. Yes, she will. But they won't be exclusive with your name and number on the back. Those are like exclusive to me. Let's see. So thank you. Oh, Karen will sell shirts. I hate re-inkers. Yes, sir. That's awesome. Heart, nice one. Gotta run. Okay, sounds good. See you later, Nick. By Nick. Some of the early art is descendable due to the original letterer. You obviously meant to say something else. Descendable.
Discernible?
Oh, discernible due to.
I'm not sure.
Oh, maybe it's easy to discern what it is because of the original letter. Honestly,
Oh,
Ian,
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, Ian, not really. Okay, maybe to one person like you. I know you like to look at your Ben Oda lettering, but we're talking across the board, across the hobby. No, nobody's going to be looking. Oh yeah, I can tell that's original because it's the Ben Oda lettering. Nobody. No. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you can recognize the Ben Oda lettering as original. The point is, all you're saying is you're going to say, oh, this piece looks funny, right? It's such rich inks. But I know it's the original because Ben Oda lettered it, but it still doesn't change the fact that somebody may have traced over it with inks last time. So, research was based off time. Yeah, I know. I saw those listings. I commented on those listings. Jason, disclosure relates to the act of purchasing. Well, disclosure is usually when you're selling. This is distinct from the principle as to whether or not re-inking alters or even defaces the artwork, and therefore whether it should be done. I guess he said that when you said something earlier to begin with. Okay. Sage info from Cab says, CJ. Adam says, some fade due to their nature, such as the water-based markers. Yeah, true. Fading is inevitable. Sometimes, not on everything. But yeah, like Copic markers. Everybody loved that when Adam Hughes brought them into this hobby, But those eventually were supposed to fade. I haven't seen it happen yet myself personally, but should. Thank you.
This is the T-shirt. This is
Karen. If the page dies, it dies. That's another thing for the T-shirt. Exactly. Yeah. Maybe on the back. You have your logo here, and then all these cool sayings on the back. Yeah. If the page dies, it dies. Exactly, Karen. Thank you. Comic Art Boston probably arguing with her. Then you have to apply the same principle to fine art. No, you don't, Comic Art Boston, because of what I said before. In fine art, most of what you see happening is in painting. It's in painting. The empty, missing paint. They're not repainting on top of the paint that was laid down. So it's different. If the page dies, it dies. Ivan Drago, original art collector. That's awesome. Nice one, Kavi. It's better to burn out than to fade away. Love the music reference, Glenn. Love it. Boston, fine art is different. Thank you, Karen. It is. Not going to say anything else. Karen, fine art, maybe. They said, now they're arguing amongst themselves. Maybe more valuable, but the principle is it's not the same principle because, again, as I said, they are not repainting over the paint that's there. They're just in painting. What is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. You guys can continue to agree to disagree. I agree with what Ruben, the collector, was saying earlier about fine art. They don't completely paint over fine art to restore it, like re-inking original art. Thank you, Karen. Oh, he's tough tonight, this guy. Karen, that would mean that you would agree that some re-inking is all right. Where then does one draw the line? Well, I'm sure she might be on the same fence as I was in terms of, what Mike Davis had said. Oh, he had the shield and a few motion lines re-inked, whatever, like when it's a small amount. I think she might be okay with that, but maybe she wouldn't. I don't know, but she might have answered that already. So let's see if we can get to it. I'm catching up, guys. I'm catching up. I'm like within.
You're there. You're in striking distance.
I'm striking distance. Let's see. Justice would be a sweet middle name, but I guess it's not. I don't really like any restoration, but I can understand why people want to restore fine art. I don't like re-inking whatsoever. I think that there is a certain awe in relation to fine art, but I appreciate your point of view as well. Ruben, the special T-shirt wearer. It's very special for a very special channel. Everybody should go and watch Karen's pages. Rubencito, again? You left and came back or what? That was 2 minutes ago you left that. Wow. Carlito, give us your opinions on this whole re-inking topic, man. I want to hear what you have to say about it. They improved Copics to Coptics. I don't know what Are you being serious? You're usually being serious. Don't know what that means though. Stat the whole page. Yeah. Good topic.
Option, right?
To see you again, Jason. This topic can be debated endlessly, I suppose. Bedtime for me though. All right, man. This was a minute ago, so maybe you're still there. Catch everyone somewhere at some point. Peace, Kavi. Thanks, Kavi. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for sticking around so long.
Good night, Kavi.
So okay, I'm caught up. I only got like 4 more.
Yeah.
The new manager of Karen's Pages Incorporated. Nice. I like that, CJ. This is a good one. A little too long for me though. I'm gonna copy. Hurry, type P is catching. Thanks, Ian. Another awesome musical reference. Thank you very much, CJ. Love that. Bob Geldof. And the Boobtown Rats, of course. In the final analysis, we should be grateful that only a very tiny proportion of original comic art involves this particular type. Yes, that's very, very true. Carlos, all right. So no re-inking of original art, especially if it's done by a random. Especially if it's done by a random. Thank you, Carlos. Awesome. Carlos is on my side of the fence. Dwayne, thanks, Jason Rubin from the forum and the forum, I guess. Have a great week. Oh, you gotta leave. Thanks, Dwayne.
Good night, Dwayne.
I appreciate you, Dwayne. Thanks as always. Thanks for dropping by every week, and thanks for your participation. Appreciate you, man. Okay, got to check out now too. Everybody's leaving now. Take care, and thanks, Ruben, and especially Jason for making the show possible.
Good night, Cab. Thanks for tuning in.
And see, Karen's always going to be nice to you no matter what, Comic Art Boston. You know that. There you go, and good night back. It's all in good friendship, right? Maybe this is why people pay a premium to buy direct first from an artist. Could be. Could be. So, okay, I've caught up. Karen, the re-inker. Now, you're going to piss her off. You're going to piss her off now, man. Night, Karen Cab. Oh, did Karen say she's leaving? No, I think she's just saying goodbye to... Actually, Karen should be leaving any minute now. It's probably about time she has to go put her kids to bed. But she'll let us know. I'll trust her to let us know. We still got a really good, great crowd. Really great crowd. 39 people still here because everybody loves to talk about this and listen to it. Even the lot of you that are watching but not participating. I wish you would jump in and participate. Good night, Heart. And Karen says, only if it's... Oh, you're bad, Karen.
Ouch.
Coletta on Thor, Journey into Mystery. Great stuff. Love that. I would not want him to be re-inked. No matter what he did. I wouldn't want anybody to get re-inked because then it's no longer their original. So, Jason, so we've caught up with the comments. You had some things you wanted to maybe bring up early on in the show. Is there anything that we haven't covered? Skrionk is saying it's a great topic tonight. Although I appreciate that, Skrionk. You're making me feel though that other nights is kind of sucks, but you keep tuning in, so I love that. That's okay. They're just gonna be like falling asleep, like, oh, mommy, quick, put us to bed. Just
no, I think one of the things that was
Karen, that's good. Sorry.
Oh no, that's all right. Yeah, one of the things I was wondering earlier was, was there an era, or was there a group of artists that were known to use less permanent inking? But you've already answered that it was kind of that early 80s window. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like you might have heard earlier tonight too. Definitely a spirited discussion, Caesar. The artists for whom it happened the most, where it's like clear, nobody ever will forget Starlin and Kane. Although with Starlin, you can at least say it didn't happen on a super wide variety of titles. So that's at least a good thing, Yeah. With Starlin, like the thing that comes to mind immediately is always Death of Captain Marvel graphic novel, Jason the Inquisitive, he calls you. George Harsh, wow. Hey, George, you're back again listening while you do some work. Did you guys talk about adding and gluing on your own overlays? No, but I think since we're caught up on comments, I'm finishing up my whatever it is that I'm saying now, and we can talk about that because it touches upon what Rich Cirillo earlier mentioned. And I don't know if Rich, you're still there or not. It's been a while since you commented, but we can talk about that. But let me just see.
I know. Okay, I know it's your second time, but at least you came back. Actually, isn't it your third? Because I thought the last time you were here, I think you said, "Hey, Screon came back," or maybe you only came by and said hello and left. I don't know. I'm pretty sure this was your third time, but okay, I'll take your word for it. But you came back. The point is, you came back, Screon, and that's cool. That's why I appreciate that. Adam says that Toth was for a period, which actually makes the fading more acceptable to me as a collector. Okay, but you also said you wouldn't really re-ink it, so that's what I care about. But yeah, Gil Kane was the guy who's the most famous for having faded or purpling inks, because he used the marker on everything. For him, it was about just being quick. Like I said, everyone, he drew directly in ink, so he could skip one of the steps, right? And he would get paid for pencils and inks because it was, penciled and inked. He drew it and inked it, except he skipped one step, so he only did both in one step, which is really amazing because you didn't see whiteout very often on Gil Kane pages either, which just goes to show their level of professionalism.
Yeah.
He could draw straight in ink,
Yeah.
but because of it, he did it. He was prolific, and that's why. But that's also why you see a lot of purple and faded inks of Gil Kane art in that era of 1983 to 85, because that was the whole purpose why he was doing it. Because he figured, I'm skipping a step, I get paid twice for one step, and that allows me to do twice as much work.
Yeah.
That's why he would get hired for more work and do other titles, more covers. And that's why it's so much a wider breadth of Kane's work is purple and fading, so that's it. He could get 2 paychecks. Yeah, exactly. And thanks, Rich. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for letting me know. Not a fan of overlays. If they are not OG, I toss them. Okay. Wow. You toss them. Wow. Man, you're a top customer, Caesar. Okay, so let's tackle what George and earlier what Rich had said. Rich had said, what do we feel about other types of restoration, gluing things on and, all the other things that you've heard about. And so, George follows up with the same thing, adding and gluing on your own overlays. Let me at least first take that real quick. I don't want to take too much time because I don't want to fall behind. And then I'm going to throw that over to you, Jason. Okay.
Right.
I have no problem with gluing, like when you're recreating a stat. If you're recreating a stat, like the title stat, or a blurb, like some blurb from the old days they used to do. If you're recreating it to make the cover look more complete, I actually don't have a problem if you glue it to the original board.
You would cover up original art if the artist drew it, edge to edge.
Right. So so that's why it gets complicated. And I'm glad you asked that, Jason. That's a great point to put out, because there's no simple, quick answer for everything when it comes to restoration, right?
Right.
So if it's a standard cover where the artist left the top third empty, there's no art there. I have no problem with gluing down a recreated title stat, as long as you use good glue. Don't use any old shitty glue. It has to be archival glue. Okay? No problem doing that. If, like you said, Jason, if the cover had a pretty detailed background, let's say buildings or whatever, New York sky scene, a cityscape where the buildings go and cover up that top third, or anything covers that top third. If there had never been, especially if there'd never been a title stat on there, no, I would not. In that case, I would get the recreated title stat glued to an overlay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
add, take the overlay at the top with archival tape to the board. That's how I would handle that.
I wonder if it varies about how long you've been in the hobby, because my first pieces that I picked up, because I've only been in it about 3-4 years, were modern art pages. And so I'm not used to seeing, you know, the word balloons or the titles as part of the original art. So if I found a Silver Age cover art that was, you know, didn't have the X-Men graphic or something like that, it wouldn't bother me as much. But I suppose if I was collecting before digital kind of took over, then, and I was used to seeing that kind of stuff on stuff, then I think it would mean more to me, probably. I don't know.
I'm not quite sure. So you're talking about modern art.
Well, I think my starting in the field with modern art makes me tolerate more imperfections on an older page.
Oh, I see.
You know, because I'm not used to seeing, like, if somebody had ripped off all the word balloons that were glued onto an original page, yeah, I would have preferred that. But if I can't tell that you did that, I wouldn't notice, probably, because I'm a newbie.
Yeah.
And my first pages that I'm buying are from within the last few years, and so I'm not used to seeing the words balloons, because those are all added in digitally later in the process of making it, versus, you know, word balloons being there and glued onto the page. And now when I've acquired those pages, I think that's neat, because then you see the process of making the art and all that went into it.
Right.
And I like that. But
right. First of all,
I can't bring myself to think that if I had if I had a Ramita cover, that I would glue something on top of that if it wasn't there originally.
I get what you mean. Yeah. First of all, Karen, thank you so much. As always, really appreciate you. Everybody watch Karen's pages here on YouTube, especially the latest video. So great. Yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Yeah. Carlos, crazy glue. Yeah, do not use crazy glue. It's archival paper you can use for the stats. There is absolutely, got to look for that. Naughty or nice. Thanks, Mikhail. Appreciate you, bud. Good evening.
Good night, Mikhail.
Good seeing you, Blue Beetle. Sorry. Rich, I've seen some dealers take original prelims, glue them to 11 by 17 boards, add logos, and say it's the original pencils at the cover.
That's terrible.
We all know. Yeah, I like the process too, Jason. You know, I mean, it's why I like on contemporary art. It's funny, you know, because contemporary art, I love that it doesn't have any lettering, because when I like the page, I like that the artwork is not marred by squares, rectangles, right, and blurbs. Of lettering. But on the contrary, I also really like modern art sometimes because of the story. Right. And then I wish it had the blurbs, the all the lettering.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I feel I'm torn sometimes. Like, I wish, this page the art is good, but if you knew what was being said, it would make it that much better. And then there's some pages that stand alone just because of their art, and they don't need the word balloons. Yeah. I totally get it. Yeah. Or if it's a you know, a more historic page, and this is the page where, you know, something's announced or a character dies, and it would be nice to have the word balloons. And if you don't have that, then, you know, then that's disappointing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, so to me, all I say is to people, to collectors, you know, choose, just make your choice, you know, do what you want. See, the thing is for contemporary art, the problem with getting stats done, especially like on panel pages, where if you just want to get the word balloons and the captions, it's so expensive. There's no easy process by which you can do it, which would make it what we would call affordable. You know, to me, honestly, Jason, there are so many pages I have where I would love, like a lot of my Mike Perkins pages, because he has worked pretty much almost entirely in the digital era, you know, and I have a lot of them that I love. I bought because I really love, I love the artwork, but I love the writing on it, you know. And I would love to get an overlay with the word balloons and captions, you know?
Right.
But for me, what I would, in a perfect world, I would love to be able to say to some guy who does that, here's 100 pages, Joe Blow. How much is it? You know, 10, 20 bucks a piece. There you go. Sure, I'll spend $2,000 and you do these 200 pages or whatever it comes out.
Right.
Unfortunately, the cost for more, like for most modern art, the cost of doing a page of overlays with just the word balloons and captions, it typically ends up being the cost of the art itself.
Yeah.
So now you doubled the cost of your page. You know what I mean? That's the sad part. So
unless it's a really special page to use.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was going to say, is that unless, you know, if you pick and choose a really page that you really, really love more than all others, then it's worth doing, you know, because at that point you don't care about that you overpaid for the page. It's complete now and you really love it, story and art.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, Rick. So not having the title logo on vintage covers, it doesn't bother me either. And even on more modern covers, it doesn't. I'm not somebody who is bothered by it. I mean, a lot of my Tom Grummett covers from the 90s, like on Superboy, for instance, the vast majority of them, do not come with title stats. And I'm fine. I'm not going to waste any money getting title stats done. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
They're fine. I like looking at them the way they are. So, you know.
Well, like you said earlier in the show, you know, if you want to see what it looked like, and if it's not on the original board, if you want to see what it looks like, go get the comic. And some people frame the comic with the original art. You know, that can be neat, especially if it's missing the title or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Ian, good thing. I'll get back to you, Rich, in a sec. Ian says, my word balloon just fell off at the framers on my Thor piece. It came out, so he got it framed, and it ended up framed without it. So he went back, and he found it on the floor, and so he stuck it back on with Elmer's glue, and it said acid-free. Hopefully, okay. Yes, that's the point.
Yeah.
As long as it's acid-free, that's fine.
Yeah, I was watching your show one night and literally sliding a piece of art into the folio as I was watching, and hear a little click.
Yeah.
And look down to see a word balloon that I had caught on the plastic. I shaved it right off, and I was like, "Oh my god, what did I do?" But everybody in the chat said just go get Elmer's glue. So
yeah, that's it exactly. And did you?
I did, and I got it back on. So yes.
Okay.
We're good.
Excellent. Good stuff, man. So Jason says a good thing about a lot of modern indie art, which he's a big collector of, many are hand lettered. Very true. That's really awesome. That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, I love that. I wish that would be the best of all worlds, right, Jason? Like,
oh yeah,
if all modern art was still being hand lettered, oh my god,
yeah,
so fantastic.
Yeah, that would be really cool if they would still do that.
So I prefer to leave modern art without the word balloons or logos if they were done digitally. I prefer seeing all the art uncovered, which is what I said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, nothing wrong there. I don't want to get off the topic just yet, but let me see what you're saying, Rich. So different subject, but I have a big issue when someone cuts an original board like card art and sell the pieces individually to make more money.
Oh yeah, that would be horrible.
It's weird. I've had a kind of a thing about that, but I don't know where I stand on that, Rich. I get it because I do believe in principle that art was drawn the way it was drawn. Just leave it alone, right? I've always kind of believed that. But then I see some card art where on the left-hand side is this character, and on the right-hand side is that character who has literally nothing remotely to do with the first. Like, they have nothing to do with each other. In other words, it wasn't like two characters who were mutants. It wasn't two characters on the same super team. Like, it had characters that probably have never been in the same comic together ever. And then you know, and one of them is kind of maybe more popular than the other. And then in those cases, it makes me think, well, that board represents not pages, but two individually cut cards from your card set. They were meant to be, right, and sold separate, as separate cards. So in that case, I've always kind of felt like, again, I've never made a final decision on this one, but I felt like maybe it's okay. I think I am okay if it was cut, because I think of myself as a buyer, and I think, well, if I really love the one on the left side, I don't care at all about the character on the right side. It kind of looks like, I don't know, I think it would display better if I had it cut off, and then I'm focusing on the character I wanted in the first place. As long as it's nicely cut, whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to make a final answer to this question, Rich. But let's say that for now, I'm not completely opposed to it. Yeah. I actually am more opposed to somebody snipping off the edges of their original artboards just so they can fit it into their portfolio. Even though, having said that, I'm also not entirely opposed to it. Yeah, I'm not entirely opposed to it. Like, if it's something that you're doing that nobody would ever know otherwise, right? Where you're literally just cutting off a little bit of the edge of the paper. Again, I've been in situations where I could have done it and I felt it needed to be done so it could squeeze into my portfolio because it wasn't fitting, and I still didn't do it. I wish I could get myself to do it, and I'm not opposed. I just wish somebody else would do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't want to be the one
yourself to do the damage.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So that's where I stand on that. The word balloon just fell off the front. Okay, that's what we said. Yes. Okay. Sorry. Tom Kadzalowski, what's up? I'd be happy to, for 2K, I'd be happy to scribble all over your Mike Perkins pages. I'm sure you would. I'm sure you would, Tom. Thanks for the offer. I'll pass, regretfully. Don't frame your art with the comic. Not a topic I want to go into, but I agree. You guys know my strong opinions on how to frame certain things. But I agree. Initially, when I was early, like 20-something years ago in the hobby, I thought I saw some art framed with the comic, and I thought, oh, cool. But I quickly changed my mind. I thought, it looks, again, for the same reason that I say, don't put multicolored double and triple mattes when you have black and white artwork that you're framing. The same reason I say, don't frame it with the comic. It just looks a little cheesier. It looks more childish. It looks more like it's meant for an 8-year-old's bedroom rather than an adult's home. Again, you can do what you want, obviously. In some ways, it kind of looks cool, but it just doesn't look adult to me. I don't know. I wouldn't do it. So, but whatever. If that's what you like, again, I always say, your art, frame it how you want it, whatever the case may be. I wouldn't do it that way, no. But archival spray mount also works great for reattaching fallen off word balloons. There you go, everybody. You heard it from Rich. When Cook Parker pages came into a two together. Get cut, Marcus. Do you mean you're in favor of getting them cut, or are you just saying that they got cut and then sold separately? Just pop back in. Hey, Carl, got pulled away earlier. No worries. Looks like it's a replay for me. You tried. No worries, Carl. I thank you very much. It was so great to see you tonight. A lot of Art Adams card art had a few characters on one board. A lot of those have been cut apart. Yeah, see, that's the thing. They were cut apart by whoever. I don't know who. I'd rather choose one card of one character or one team than more than one on one board and have to own all of them. If I don't care about the others, why do I need it? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm not so opposed to that. You know, Comic Art Channel. So Jason says that, Marcus, that's terrible. I guess he's talking about the pages from Parker. It's a 2-page spread in the book. If it's a 2-page spread, you shouldn't cut that. So Marcus then says, yes, he drew 2 pages on one board. Yeah, two separate pages. But again, are you in favor of it? So now you're saying people cut them to sell easier. Yeah, we know that. I want to know if you're in favor of cutting 2 pages like Darwin Cook's Parker, two pages that were on one board that, it's not a double-page spread. It's 2 separate pages, 2 story pages. like, again, I'm not opposed.
That's a tough one.
It's tough because, you know, you have to really love both pages. You know?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
If you love the one page you want, you find it, and it comes with another page you don't really care about. You're forced to buy a page you don't want, and it's right next to the one you do want. It's just it's kind of weird. And it was published as separate pages, not 2-story pages to a physical page, you know?
Right.
I feel by splitting it, you're leaving it the way that it was published anyways. So I'm not opposed to that. I'll keep saying I'm not opposed to that. Not completely opposed anyways, you know? Okay, hold on. So Rich says, I would have an issue trimming the sides of a page if there were original notes. Of course. That's different because there's original notes. Exactly. I'm just saying bare bones paper, blank bristle board, shaving it off a bit. That's what I'm saying. How do you feel about whiting out over a name dedication? Funny that I was talking to my friend Jeff Singh yesterday at his house, and we talked about that. We were literally talking about it because he has a beautiful Prince Valiant on his wall. Oh shit! I wanted to show a few pictures. I took pictures of his brand new home. He just moved, and I really love how he got all his art up. Maybe I'll show those next week.
You should have him back on sometime.
I should have him back on.
Yeah.
Hopefully to do because we did a what do you call it? The hangout episode, right?
Yeah.
So we talked about a lot of great topics, which is really great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I should have him back on just to do a show and tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got a Prince Valiant on the wall, and it's on one of the panels. It's got a dedication. You know, I think for or to whoever, your friend or whatever. Hal Foster, and it's like the restorer said, I can get rid of the dedication, but you'd also lose his signature.
Mm-hmm.
You got to lose all of it. You lose it all or nothing. And I was like, he told me that, and he said, yeah. So I told him, no, don't touch it. And I was like, yeah, thank God, because I would not have wanted that either. Not only for the Hal Foster signature, but when something is 90 years old, and it was from a time when the artist was giving away his art to a fan or a friend,
Mm-hmm.
It's all part and parcel of the provenance. It's a part of the history,
I think if it's a published page for me and the artist made a dedication, that doesn't bother me as much. If it's a commission and I could go find probably another commission by that artist that's not dedicated, that's when I won't go for it. But
right. It bugs you more. But that's the thing. That's the thing is that, Rick, to answer your question, I don't mind seeing if I like the pinup, right? The con sketch, I don't mind if it's, I prefer it doesn't have a dedication, but it's not a deal breaker for me in the first place. It's not a deal breaker. As long as I love the artwork, it's not a deal breaker. As far as whiting out, I will say, I personally sometimes wish I could white it out, or if I had one, I wish it would be whited out, so I would only have the signature. But I personally would not be the one to white out, because now I'm still adding a physical media to an original sketch, and I just feel it's not for me to do that. But yeah, if it already exists whited out, as some people have done, I would buy it happily. Why not? Because I would buy it even with the Joe Blow name on it. So yeah, that's where I stand on that. Yeah. But I won't add media to the artwork. Not myself. No way. Oh, you would love my new frame pieces. So much color. And Ian, like I said, man, to each their own. It's about taste. If that's what you like, that's all that matters. You're the one who has to look at it. Don't matter, man. I like the art. As long as the art exists, it's cool. I can look at the art. I don't have to live with the framing and presentation. Doesn't matter, So Adam says, I retrofit antique frames with museum glass, new backing for his original art pages. Cool. That's awesome. That should look good. Hey, Adam, maybe you want to do if you have a scanner, you have good scans of your art, maybe you'd like to do a show and tell with me sometime. That would be cool. Let me know. People cut them to sell easier. Yeah, we know that. I have no skin in the game. But you're still not telling us how you feel, though. I'm curious, Marcus. Would you split a Parker page yourself into two? Would you do it yourself? I feel you would say no. Let me know. Nutty or nice. I saw a recent Frazetta page with random prelims get cut up. Yeah, those pages were just random prelims all over the place. It doesn't really look good on its own, right? Because none of the images sort of go together.
Right.
That's one of those examples where, yeah, I kind of would rather see them broken up. But at the same time, the way that you have to cut those, you can never really get to cut them into like a nice square shape or rectangle shape, right? They end up getting cut into weird oddball shapes, and I don't like that either.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that, you know? So that's the thing. But great thing to bring up. Great example to bring up, Naughty. Have a Bruce Timm piece with 2 drawings on it and only like 1. Still can't cut it. Yeah, I know. It's tough to do it yourself when you're like a purist, you know? I agree. Rich, I would never get rid of my Captain America drawn on the side of my okay, sorry. You're talking to him anyways. Always keep it if it says to Dong. Yeah, absolutely. That's rule number 1, everyone. If it's dedicated to Dong, it's like literally the most rare and most special dedication you could get. So send them Marcus's way. He collects them. I found the original person possibly for the dedication on my piece, and it was with another artist. So much cooler with it. Yeah, that's it. To me, it's like whatever. It's part of the provenance, part of the history of it. It's on older stuff. On newer stuff, I would wish people wouldn't get it dedicated to them, especially on published work. People's given names should not be on original artwork that has been made. Because again, I only say that because you are not going to own the art forever. You will die eventually, you know, and eventually the art will belong to someone else, you know. So it shouldn't have your name on it. A few years ago, I bought a Frazetta sketchbook at auction that had a lot of pages. Most of the pages cut or cut out that were sold previously. Some pages were cut into many. Yeah, man. Yeah, we all know about those. Yeah. All right, Adam. Let me show you here. Where is it? I haven't done this in a while. Email me here tonight, please, if you can, just so I can have your email right away so I don't forget about it. And I'll let you know. I can let you know what weeks I have open so far on the schedule, and you'll let me know what works for you, man. So yeah, it's my name at gmail.com. So it's pretty easy to remember if you can remember my name, Ruben the Collector, gmail.com. So yeah, that'd be awesome. Cool. So let me jump back here and say, I feel that Cook did them that way for a reason. You know what, Marcus? I don't remember because I don't own one. Can you tell me what size were the boards? Because I almost feel like he did them for a reason, that way for a reason, yes. But I almost feel like his reason was simply that it was easier to work with doing it that way. You know what I mean? That's what I feel. I don't know. I'm guessing. It's just intuition.
Can't be because he was getting paid by the page.
No, I mean, he was getting paid by the story page, you know. Yeah, he's going to do that. Like, yeah. Not to get screwed. So, but no, I think that it was just efficacy, you know. I think it was more efficient for him to do it that way. But I don't know. Admittedly, I don't know, you know. And you would honor his vision. Yeah, I get it too. Like I said, I personally would also honor the vision. I would not be the one to cut them myself. But I am saying also that if somebody else had cut them, which people have, I have no problem buying a single page. And in fact, I prefer to be able to choose one page at a time rather than be forced to choose 2 of them, you know? So that's all I'm saying. Rich, I used to own a Dotson Wonder Woman page that he dedicated to me and my ex-wife. Yeah, there you go. If I still owned it, I white out her name now? Exactly. That's an interesting question. Exactly. Carl says, an artist gifted me a page and added my name. I dig that. Exactly. Because it's a gift. So at that point, it's an exception to the rule, Carl. For me, the way I look at that is I think it's a gift. I treasure the gifts that somebody, whether it was a collector who bought it for me, or an artist who gifted it to me. A gift is different, and I wouldn't bury myself with it, but I don't mind that it was. Of course, it means more to me that it was dedicated to me, right? So as long as I live, I will keep it. I will not sell that. Once I'm gone from this earth, whoever sells it or whatever, okay, the next person will have to deal that my name was on it. Whatever. That's an exception to the rule. All right, Adam. Cool, baby. Let's do it. Okay, thank you. 13 by 9. Okay, so the sheets were 13 by 9. Okay, so he did 13 by 9 sideways, I guess. Yeah,
I would think so. Yeah.
And then, right, so that it's 19 wide, right, and 13 tall. Yeah. Okay, so each one, if you split them up, each individual story page is smaller than the typical ones that we find on 11 by 17. I'm figuring, you know. Oh my gosh, Karen! I came back to say that I hate when people cut up Darwin Cook Parker pages.
You fired her up.
You have to go again. Thanks, Karen. Thanks for letting us know how you feel. I appreciate that. That's dedication. Thank you. That's awesome. You're awesome. Go put those kids to sleep. See, if you had put them to sleep already, you could have stayed as you came back. But oh well. Okay, so. Agreed. If done for convenience, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's their vision, right? It's their, and if it doesn't mean that it's their vision for the work, right? Yeah. Thank you. Oh, Karen, you can't quit us. Yes, exactly. And
I think on those pages,
apparently.
I think on those pages, it would also depend if there's a clear, distinct difference between the two pages. If there's a place where you really could cleanly cut.
Right.
But if there's pencil touching each other,
right,
you want that separated.
Right, exactly. I get it. No, we're on the same wavelength with that. And you know, it's like where you know that if there's any original medium at all which would get cut,
lost.
You just feel like it's not for me to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Have to attend Family Matters. Good night. Good night to you, Maki Poo Poo. Thanks as always, my friend.
Good night, Maki Poo Poo.
Oh my God, Karen. You just said you had to leave. You're still here again. What's happening? Get those kids to bed. But thank you. I appreciate you as much as anyone else here. So thank you. Take care, Maki. Okay, let's show that for CJ. And you got to keep it separated. I don't know what you mean. You got to keep it.
Music reference. I can hear the song in my head, but I can't think of who.
Oh, no, sorry. This one's going over my head. Sorry, CJ. So that's where we stand on that. Okay, so Jason, I have to ask you, as the hour is waning and we're hitting hour 3, and I'm sure you got to work tomorrow.
Yep.
Is this a great time for us to let it go? I think it sounds
good spot for me.
Excellent. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Okay. So let's just get these last comments. Don't start commenting, everybody, because I will skip them if I have to. Rick says, don't let those scissors come out of play. So he's opposed. So Ruben, in review, if the art is pink, then don't re-ink. Yes, exactly. And if the art is faded,
leave it alone.
Yeah, don't get mated, or I don't know. Yeah, do not re-ink. That's what I say. Warriors, come out and play. Is that what you're doing? I'm not sure. I'm making their beds now while trying to watch at the same time. Nice. Making the beds, but you should be undoing the beds. They're getting into the bed. You should be undoing them so they could get in. No? Why would you make the bed so they could just get in?
Turns it down, puts a mint on the pillow.
Like a hotel. Nice.
Yeah.
Love that. Oh, it's The Offspring. I was never a fan. Sorry. So I missed it. Thanks, George. Never a fan. I think The Offspring, they had that one hit. Well, I forget what it was called. There was one hit in the 90s. I forget what it is. Girl, is it the one with the girlfriend?
Yeah, it's that one.
I hate that bitch. That one? Is that the one?
Yeah.
No,
it's not that one. It's not that one. No. I know what you're talking about, but it's not that one.
In the worst kind of way. Wait. So the chorus is like, always Nah, why don't you get a job? Is that
No,
not,
it's not that.
is that not The Offspring though?
Oh, that I don't
Oh,
think it is.
well, okay.
That's
Sorry,
George.
guys. Sorry, guys. Thanks for George, though, for pointing that out. I also do think we agree that we'd never be the ones to do it, right? But buying a piece of art that was previously cut and presents well, it wouldn't stop you from buying. Exactly. I think you, me, and Jason, I think we're willing to own those pages as long as it's not us.
We won't do the work. Yeah.
Doing the work. Exactly. Hey, Nick, good night to you. Thank you so much for rallying the likes. Don't know how much we got. Probably not that much as usual, but thank you, everybody. Please hit the like if you haven't done so already. I'd appreciate it. Got a color separations. Oh. Whoa! You hit the wrong button. Hopefully he'll click it just to jump back in real quick before I say bye. Okay, we got 42, so that's pretty good. And there he is.
I don't know what I did.
I don't know, but I knew. I said you might be back quick.
Yeah.
So good night to you, Rich. Great show. Thank you. It was really a lot of fun. I really love this topic. Yeah, it's always a lot of fun, and it's, I guess, like I said, we've talked about it before, and I still knew it was still worthy of an entire topic all on its own. 2 in the ink, 1 in the stink. Oh my God, let's just not bother with that. I washed the sheets today. Thank you, Karen, for informing us of what's happening in your home. Go get a job. So are you trying to say that's the song? That's the song I was singing.
It's the song you were singing.
And I want you go get a job or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Quick question: are you going to OAX? I am not. Are you, Jason?
I am going to go to OAX.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've got a friend who he's also new to OA like I am, and we decided we'll go check it out.
Wow. How new is he?
Probably the year after I started. So I think it was I started 2020, and so he kind of got into it 2021.
Okay. Very cool.
So, yeah.
Okay. Very good. Is he also near you? Do you go together?
Yeah, he lives on the other side of Michigan, and he's probably watching, but he doesn't like to.
Doesn't like to participate.
Yeah, he doesn't like to participate. He's lurking in the shadows.
Oh, wow. Well, friend, let me just say that even Jason has admitted to me a while back, he is not the most,
I'm not
extroverted of people. He's not an extrovert. In fact, you could say quite the opposite. And yet look at how amazing he has been on all the appearances he has made here. And that's on camera. Even before camera, he was, doing the chatting like with everybody else. That's pretty a lot easier. Nobody sees you, nobody really hears you. At least jump into the chat every now and then. But anyways, he can, Jason can tell you from his own experiences. He wouldn't keep showing up and doing this with me if it was that scary. So who knows? Maybe he can convince you to do it with me.
No, this is fun. I enjoy this. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so before we close it out, everybody, they had a few Marcus. Okay, come on. Okay, guys, come out and play. Didn't even know that's what it was called. Thanks, George. Appreciate it. Self-esteem. Oh, okay, that's what somebody else had mentioned. I think you, Jason. Plus, pretty fly for a white guy. Right, I forgot that was them too. Okay, thank you. Also, the song you were singing was Offspring as well.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was thinking of Puddle of Mud. Because if you told me Puddle of Mud, I wouldn't know a single song. Sure it's Puddle of Mud? Okay. Enjoyed listening. Thanks, George. Really appreciate it, buddy.
Good night, George.
Ian, night. Good night to you, Ian. And all the best to you as always, and your wonderful kids and your wonderful wife. CJ, how many thread count is the sheets? Will you be there to see Mannix? He wants to know if you're going there to see Mannix.
Not specifically, but I'll be happy to meet him. How about that?
Okay. At least 400, CJ. Good night, everyone. Good night, Karen. Talk to you soon. Thanks, Karen. Textiles are important. Ruben is more Depeche Mode. Oh, you're such a... You love all the 80s synth pop, British wave as much as I do. Okay, so that's all I can say. I'm going to see Duran Duran soon, everyone. In about 3 weeks. Going to see Duran Duran.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man.
That'd be a cool concert.
Good night, Carl. Good night, and good night to
Carl.
you, Rick. Okay, everybody
Rick.
who is who is left, everybody who is left, just stay with me for a second, will you, Jason?
Sure.
Okay. I will mute just so we can go out on mute. Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And thanks to all of you, as always, for being so great, not only to me, but especially to Jason, my co-host tonight. I don't call him a guest this time. He's my co-host tonight. Really appreciate you all. Yes, I'm hungry like the wolf. Exactly. Very much so. I will leave you with the thumbnail, as always, for next week's show. And for that, we go to a gentleman who was in the chat earlier this evening, my buddy Hyger. And that will be at the usual time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. And yeah, should be a lot of fun. And so that's it, everybody. Thank you once again. Appreciate for everything that you do for all of us. And thank you, CJ. Really, really appreciate Jason is here. Paul Schaefer. Nice. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, thank you very, very much. And I will see you all next week. Peace.